Chapter 325. The Emperor's voice was so loud that even the sound of a needle falling could be heard. The eyes of the civil and military officials once again focused on Yang Wu. They all want to see if Yang Wu still has the courage to resist the imperial decree in public. Yang Wu was not stupid. On the contrary, he was very smart. Otherwise, how could he think of going to the barbarians alone to negotiate with them? He already felt the other party's method of retreat in order to advance from Prince Fu An's words. Once he accepts the position of Prince Fu An's son-in-law, the grudges between him and Prince Fu An will be written off. There will no longer be any connection between them. If he doesn't agree, his blood will be spilled on the spot. However, how could such a small trick be enough to make him submit? This time, Yang Wu has already prepared various means to deal with it. He did not hesitate to reply, Yang Wu is not willing. Just as he finished speaking, the Emperor had already ordered, drag this thief away and behead him. In an instant, a powerful aura filled the hall. This was not the aura of an ordinary king, but that of a true master of the celestial fish realm. It came from the old eunuch who had killed Shui Gui before. At this moment Yang Wu loudly said, Huang Shang, please wait, Yang Wu still has something to say. No matter what you say, you can't defend yourself, the Emperor coldly said. Just when the old eunuch was about to make a move, a cold aura immediately locked his body, making him tremble all over. Which expert dares to break into my Xia imperial palace? The cold aura was obviously stronger than the old eunuch. Not only the old eunuch felt it, but even the civil and military officials in the hall felt it. Their bodies tightened, and their faces showed a look of horror. This was the imperial palace of Xia imperial palace. There were many experts hiding in the dark. Even the old eunuch and the others didn't notice the existence of the other party. It can be seen how terrifying the strength of the other party was. The Emperor on the dragon throne looked pale. His strength was not weak. He was already a high-level king, but in the face of this cold aura, he couldn't even put up the slightest resistance. This was a heavenly realm powerhouse. I already said not to use force. This time, I came to reason with the Emperor, Yang Wu faintly said. Yang Wu's words undoubtedly proved that this hidden super-expert belonged to him. All of the civil and military officials were stunned, and Minister Song shouted, Yang Wu, you really are trying to rebel. Luo Gongming also said, Yang Wu, your family has been loyal for generations. Don't do anything stupid. Who would have thought that Yang Wu would bring a heaven realm expert with him? If the other party went all out and killed the current emperor, it would be very troublesome. You're thinking too much. If I were to rebel, why would I be standing here to reason with His Majesty? It's true that I disobeyed the decree, but I will compensate His Majesty in other ways, Yang Wu said calmly. Then he said, Bingxue, withdraw your power. Don't scare the Emperor and the other officials. Let's continue to talk. The cold air disappeared in an instant, and the old eunuch breathed a sigh of relief. If he made a move just now, the other party will definitely kill him. After all, the other party's cultivation was above him. Only then did the Emperor and the civil and military officials feel a lot warmer. The way they looked at Yang Wu had become completely different. Yang Wu, what do you want to do? The Emperor glared at Yang Wu and asked. Since he ascended the throne, this was the first time he looked so ugly. I don't want to do anything, I just want to ask. My Yang family, as the old general said, has been loyal for generations. But why did it end up like this? Yang Wu asked. The Emperor haven't answered, but Prince Fu An hurriedly said from the side, Your Yang family's matter was done by Ben Wang. Every debt has its debtor. You mustn't question the Emperor. Oh, then let me ask Wang Ye, how did my Yang family offend you? Why are you doing this to my Yang family? Yang Wu asked. Prince Fu An was speechless for a while, but then he sighed and said, The past is the past, let's not mention it again. Ben Wang can compensate your Yang family. Wang Ye, what you said is really nice. You came to my house to propose marriage, but I didn't agree to marry the princess. So, you hold a grudge and slandered me for being a rapist. My young family's property was confiscated and my parents were sent to prison. My younger brother, who was the top scholar in the imperial examination, resigned from his position and was sent to prison. You think you can easily cover up this matter with just a few words? Yang Wu glared at Prince Fuan. At the same time, he released a powerful aura, accompanied by a thick death aura, which instantly affected the entire hall. This time, everyone felt the fear of death. Everyone's expression became sluggish and panicked. They didn't have the slightest calmness. Compared to the cold aura from before, it was no less. Especially Prince Fuan, when he faced Yang Wu's death aura, he collapsed on the ground. His face showed an incomparable pain, as if he was in front of the gates of hell. He kept struggling and screaming. He didn't have the slightest demeanor of a prince. As for the emperor, he was under the protection of the old lady, so the power he suffered was much weaker. However, he could feel that Yang Wu had become really terrible. No wonder he could make a great contribution at the border. Yang Wu didn't have the intention to kill Prince Fuan. He withdrew his death aura and faintly said, "This is just a small punishment. I still need to clear the account between me and your daughter. If you let the Black Hand List people come to kill me again, I don't mind hanging a few more heads in front of my Yang family. The Black Hand List people were not sent by me." Prince Fuan refuted. "Oh, then they were sent by Song Xiang?" Yang Wu looked at Song Lirue and said. When he was framed, it was not only the princess's idea, but also Song Lirue's youngest son. He clearly remembered this account. "If you think so, then so be it," Song Lirue proudly said. "Very well, this account will be on your head, Prime Minister Song." Yang Wu agreed. "Yang Wu, this is my world, this is my imperial palace. How long do you want to be arrogant?" The emperor couldn't help but roar. At the same time, a dragon chi rose from his body. The emperor's prestige was unquestionable. "Huangshang, please calm your anger. I have something to give you," Yang Wu said. Then a jade bottle appeared in his hand and presented it to the emperor. No one knew what kind of trick Yang Wu was going to play, so they were all confused. "What is this?" the emperor asked. "This is a king-level pill refined by Yang Wu. It can help the emperor regain his youthfulness for 10 years. This is Yang Wu's self-atonement for disobeying the imperial decree," Yang Wu said in a deep voice. "Yang Wu, don't mess around. Even if there is a heavenly realm expert here, you may not be able to win." Luo Gongming was afraid that Yang Wu was offering a poison, so he loudly said to Yang Wu, "Old general, you think too much. This is really a pill. I want to wish the emperor's youthfulness forever," Yang Wu emphasized. After a pause, he patted his forehead and said, "Don't you all know that I am a medicine king? I thought you all have already received the news." At this moment, everyone was stunned. They looked at Yang Wu's excessively young face and had indeed forgotten the fact that he was a medicine king. This point was already confirmed by the border generals. Chao Jiandao, who had been silent all this time, stood up and said, "Huangshang, I can testify that Yang Wu is indeed a medicine king. He refined the Earth King pill in front of all the soldiers and attracted the pill lightning." Chao Jiandao had already followed Fen Tianxiong back to the empire. The war at the border had already stopped, so they all came back to receive their rewards or be punished. Fen Tianxiong and all the generals were humiliated by the barbarians. If it wasn't for their previous contributions, they would have all been beheaded. This was too shameful for the empire. In the end, all the generals were demoted. Only Chao Jiandao was not demoted because he firmly believed that Yang Wu did not betray the empire. Moreover, he had a brother who was killed when he tried to stop Shui Gui. This could be considered a great contribution to the Chao family. Chao Jiandao was also promoted by half a rank. Ever since Yang Wu came to the palace, he stayed with the military officials and did not speak much. Only at the crucial moment did he stand up to speak for Yang Wu. What if he gave the emperor a poison pill? Song Xiang said. The pill can be tested. Chao Jinda replied. Forget it. Since the emperor does not dare to accept this face-preserving pill, then I will keep it for myself. Yang Wu did not force the emperor to accept it and put away the pill himself. Wait! The emperor opened his mouth and shouted. He then said, Bring the pill over. The face-preserving pill. Which middle-aged person did not want it? It did not matter if they were male or female. Everyone wanted to maintain their youthful appearance in order to live a more comfortable life. Who would want to look old and clumsy? The emperor was also a person. He also desired to regain his youth. Although the face-preserving pill's effect was not that great, it would allow him to maintain his appearance for 10 years and even make him look younger. How could he not want it? Emperor, you must not. A minister immediately said. This child has bad intentions. Don't. Another civil official said. Medicine priest, come out and test the pill. The emperor did not pay attention to the crowd and loudly shouted. Thus, an unremarkable old man walked out. He was the current medicine priest of the imperial court. He was in charge of the imperial court's medicine warehouse. At the same time, he was a true medicine king with an extraordinary position. This official is here. After the medicine priest responded, he walked over and took the face-preserving pill from Yang Wu's hands. Yang Wu looked at the medicine priest and his nose smelled a strong medicinal scent. It could be seen that the other party was a master-level figure who had been soaking in medicinal herbs for a long time. Yang Wu slightly bowed to the medicine priest to show his respect. General Yang Wu, this old man does not deserve it. After the medicine priest calmly accepted Yang Wu's bow, he took the face-preserving pill. He took out the pill and began to appraise the medicine. When he saw that the medicine was incomparably glossy and had a strong medicinal scent, he was filled with admiration. It was as if he was admiring a work of art. He slowly examined it and used his finger to touch the pill. He then put it in his mouth and licked it to distinguish whether the medicine was real or fake. Everyone held their breaths as they watched the medicine priest distinguish it. They were also curious whether the face-preserving pill was real or not. They had heard of this kind of pill before, but it was hard to find even with 10,000 gold. Even the Medicine King's Hall did not have the pill recipe and could not refine it. Only the Transcendental Realm had the pill recipe. Chapter 326. Reporting to the Emperor, this medicine is the same as the face-preserving pill in the records. It should be the real thing. After the medicine priest finished examining it, he reported to the Emperor. No way, is this really the face-preserving pill? Someone couldn't help but exclaim. The king-level face-preserving pill can preserve one's appearance for 10 years. It also has the effect of beautifying. If the Emperor obtains this pill, his youth will be eternal. Someone immediately flattered. Then will the effect really be that great? Someone expressed their doubts. The Emperor didn't pay attention to them. He revealed an anxious expression and said, "Quickly bring this pill over." Thus, a eunuch went down to bring the face-preserving pill to the Emperor. Yang Wu took the opportunity to say, "The Emperor can take it now, there will be a very obvious effect. No, this pill may have already been tampered with by him. If the Emperor takes it." Ji Meng opened his mouth again, but before he could finish, the medicine priest said with dissatisfaction, "Does Ji Darren doubt this priest's ability to test medicine?" "No. No, this official does not dare, just in case." Ji Meng hurriedly responded. The medicine priest's position in the court was extraordinary. Like Qiao Sanyi, he was a marquis. He was also a dignified medicine king. Many pills in the court passed through his hands, so no one wanted to offend him. Humph, this priest has stayed in the medicine warehouse for 60 years and refined pills for 50 years. If I can't even distinguish the authenticity of a single pill, then I don't want to be a medicine priest. The medicine priest coldly snorted. Ji Meng instantly did not dare to speak. This kind of person, even his teacher had to respect him. After the emperor took the pill, he smelled it and looked at the medicine priest. Can it really be eaten? The medicine priest bowed and said, How could this official dare to deceive the emperor? If this pill is strange, this official is willing to guarantee with my head. Yang Wu said from the side. If the emperor is afraid, you can let someone eat it first. If they die, then it won't be too late to deal with Yang Wu. After pausing for a moment, he added, But there is only one face-preserving pill for the time being. If others take it, there may not be any left. After the emperor heard Yang Wu's words, he quickly threw the pill into his mouth. The emperor was already 50 years old. Although he had a technique to preserve his appearance, he still couldn't withstand the ravages of time. There were already traces of wrinkles on his face. Usually, he had to work hard on many state affairs, and his body was deteriorating day by day. Even if he had the strength of a high-level king realm expert, he couldn't withstand the torment. This face-retaining pill just happened to solve his urgent problem. If the medicinal pill was effective, he could return to his 30-year-old appearance. Those young concubines of his would definitely be mesmerized by him. At that time, it would be even better if he took in a few more concubines. Everyone watched as the emperor swallowed the face-preserving Dan on the spot. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. They wanted to see if this face-preserving Dan was really effective. Of course, there were also others who hoped that this was a poison Dan. It would be better if the emperor was poisoned to death. Yang Wu didn't care at all. He had confidence in his own medicinal pill. This was to give the other party a little sweetness. After tasting it, they would know how powerful he was. At that time, it wouldn't be him begging the other party, but the other party would be the one begging him. Sure enough, this face-preserving Dan was worthy of being called a medicinal pill that could preserve one's appearance. After the emperor refined the medicinal power, it was as if a vitality was injected into his body. It began to change the muscles of his body. His face was emitting a luster, the wrinkles were disappearing, and his skin became more elastic. His entire person seemed to be glowing with a new brilliance, and he suddenly became a lot younger. Comfortable. The emperor, who had his eyes closed, couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief and praise. His appearance of enjoyment was as refreshing as if he was swallowing an immortal medicine. Congratulations to the emperor for remaining young forever. Long live the emperor. Yang Wu took the opportunity to kneel down on one knee and said. For a long time, Yang Wu had been very arrogant. He didn't put the emperor in his eyes at all. Now that he was so respectful, it had to be said that the timing was really good. The civil and military officials all cast him a look of disdain, but they had no choice but to shout, Congratulations to the emperor for remaining young forever. Long live the emperor. The emperor opened his eyes and said with a smile, Ha ha, my beloved subjects, please rise. As a ruler, he had already felt the extraordinariness of this medicinal pill. He was also clear about the changes in his body. His mood was not ordinary awe. After the civil and military officials stood up, the emperor muttered to himself and said, Yang Wu, you have made a great contribution at the border, but you have also repeatedly disobeyed the imperial edict. Your merits offset your faults. Since you have contributed to the face-preserving Dan, I will pardon you and confer you the title of Honorary Medicine Priest. What do you think? Honorary Medicine Priest, this was a title in name only. Just like the current Medicine King Pavilion's Pavilion Master, he also belonged to the Honorary Medicine Priest. But the other party didn't need to participate in the imperial court and was independent of the imperial court. This title was just a reward for Yang Wu. This was also the emperor giving himself a way out. It was up to Yang Wu whether or not he would appreciate it. Thank you for your kindness, your majesty. Yang Wu readily agreed. Good, very good. Zhen will not interfere with the matter between you and Princess Xiao Han. She is a national beauty. If you miss out on her, it will be your loss. The emperor said in a very happy mood. Then he said, Okay, Yang Wu, come forward and listen to your conferment. You have made a great contribution at the border. You will be conferred the title of Guardian General, Xiaowu Count, Ambassador of Peace, Yellow Magua, 10,000 taels of gold, and a set of king's armor. These were the rewards that the emperor had conferred to Yang Wu. They were the rewards that he deserved for repelling the barbarians and rescuing dozens of high-ranking military officers and 150,000 soldiers. The reward for signing the peace contract was gone. It was equivalent to making up for his crime of disobeying the emperor's decree. It can be said that the emperor has been magnanimous enough to tolerate Yang Wu's rude behavior. His decision to do so was also based on careful consideration, and not because of Yang Wu's single ageless pill. First of all, Yang Wu has a powerful master behind him. He also heard that he has a mysterious master, who may be a supernatural figure. In addition, he is a young medicine king. All of these were destined to not easily touch him. Another reason was that Yang Wu has a grudge with Prince Fuwen and Prime Minister Song. These two people have a feeling that the emperor can no longer suppress them. Yang Wu happened to be their enemy. So, the one who should have the most headache is not the emperor, but the two of them. Pardoning Yang Wu was the result of weighing the pros and cons. It has to be said that the emperor's skill is not something that ordinary people can play with. The emperor had already decided on Yang Wu's identity, and none of the civil and military officials dared to stand up against him. Yang Wu also didn't cause any more trouble, and happily accepted all of this. For him, these things are just a formality. He doesn't care at all. His future is not limited to this Daxia dynasty. The farce of the morning court came to an end. Yang Wu could be considered to have passed this stage without any mishap. At the end of the court, Prince Fuwen apologized to Yang Wu. Xiaowu Earl, Jiaoyan is not sensible. Just let bygones be bygones. If you have any conditions, as long as Benwang can do it, Benwang will not say a word of no. It can be seen that Prince Fuwen is really willing to put down his pride and ask for peace. Otherwise, with his identity as a prince, he will not apologize to a count. Yang Wu stretched his waist and lightly said, I am not short of anything now, Wang Ye. So, there is nothing to talk about? Prince Fuwen frowned. There is nothing to talk about. You are a dignified prince. If you want to plagiarize my Yang family, then plagiarize it. What else can I say? But next time, if you want to plagiarize again, it will not be so easy. Yang Wu said with a smile. He was doomed to not reconcile with Prince Fuwen and Song Xiang. The account must be slowly settled. He suffered a lot, his parents suffered a lot, and his younger brother suffered a lot. Someone must pay the price. Well, I will see what you can do. After Prince Fuwen said a few words, he waved his sleeves and left. Yang Wu smiled and declined to comment. He still has not figured out how to deal with the two families. At present, he just wanted to give them some pressure. But after he thought about it, he will definitely give them a thunderous blow. Even the royal family cannot stop him. Just when Yang Wu was about to leave, a little eunuch hurriedly rushed over and shouted, Earl Xiaowu, please wait, the emperor wants to see you. The little eunuch's voice was not small, so the civil and military officials who were leaving heard it. They couldn't help but look back at Yang Wu with a complicated look. They were sure that Yang Wu was destined to rise quickly. Yang Wu hesitated for a moment, but he still followed the little eunuch to the back of the palace. Soon, he saw the emperor again in the Yangxin Palace Hall. The emperor has taken off his dragon robe and revealed his simple clothes. The emperor was in high spirits and looked a lot younger. He looked like he was in his 30s, still in his prime. This subject greets your majesty. Yang Wu saluted and greeted. He found that there was a graceful woman beside the emperor, who was the empress. So, he quickly added, this subject greets the empress. So, you are Yang Wu. You really look talented. The empress looked at Yang Wu and said, The Empress had the demeanor of a mother under heaven, but unfortunately, she was no longer young. She looked a bit old, and when she stood next to the Emperor, they clearly did not match. "Thank you, Empress, for your praise," Yang Wu replied honestly. "Yang Wu, sit down and talk." The Emperor opened his mouth and said. Yang Wu was not polite and directly sat down. Then, he asked, what did the Emperor call this subject over for? It had to be said that Yang Wu really did not put the Emperor in his eyes. Speaking like this was impudent. The Emperor did not argue with Yang Wu. He opened his mouth and said, "Do you really only have one face-preserving pill?" Yang Wu nodded his head and said, "I really only have one." This time, the Empress anxiously said, "Yang Wu, you have to be honest. As long as you take out another face-preserving pill, I will have the Emperor agree to any request you have." Any reasonable request. The Emperor hurriedly added a sentence. It was true that he was the Emperor, but he couldn't do everything to Yang Wu. "Emperor, can the medicine priest not refine the face-preserving pill?" Yang Wu asked. When the Emperor heard this, he secretly cursed in his heart. Isn't this asking the obvious? Chapter 327. Yang Wu was indeed asking the obvious. In Little Hei's eyes, the face-preserving pill was a low-level pill, but this kind of pill recipe was almost non-existent in the mortal world. Even in the transcendent realm, it was basically hidden away. Its value was not necessarily inferior to the Earth King pill. In the eyes of women, its value was even higher than the Earth King pill. All women loved beauty, and the Empress was no exception. When she saw the Emperor suddenly become younger, how could she not panic? After asking, she found out about the face-preserving pill and immediately sent someone to call Yang Wu over. Yang Wu, although the medicine priest is the medicine king, he does not have the pill recipe for the face-preserving pill. How about you contribute the recipe and let him refine it for this Empress? The Empress said somewhat ignorantly. Just as she finished speaking, the Emperor said, "Every pill recipe is a secret of the alchemist. How can it be passed down just because you say so? How about you let Yang Wu refine it for you? This Empress believes that Yang Wu has the ability." Yang Wu smiled and said, Empress, you still want the face-preserving pill, right? This is a king-level pill. I just need to use a bit of effort to refine it. The main thing is that I don't have the ingredient." "How difficult is this? You are the glory medicine priest, so you can directly go to the medicine storehouse and choose the ingredient." The Emperor said. "I'm afraid the medicine priest has an opinion." Yang Wu said with a difficult expression. "If he has an opinion, let him come find Jun." The Emperor said domineeringly. The Empress anxiously said from the side, "Yes, if you need any ingredients, the medicine storehouse has them. Go ahead and take them, I only want the pills." "Since it's like this, then this subject will accept the order. As long as I find the ingredients, I will do my best to refine the face-preserving pill for the Empress." Yang Wu replied. Good, you are a good child. Everyone says you are hateful and abominable, but this Empress sees it as a false rumor, maliciously slandering you." The Empress spoke up for Yang Wu. The Empress is wise. Yang Wu was indeed harmed by a scoundrel, but that is already in the past. Yang Wu said respectfully, It's all in the past. You must look forward and properly assist the Emperor in the future. There will be benefits for you." The Empress replied. After pausing for a moment, she said, "You should immediately go to the medicine storehouse and give the face-preserving pill to this Empress as soon as possible. This Empress will reward." "Yes, Empress." Yang Wu responded and left the hall. In the Imperial Palace's forest garden, there was a guard at every step. Every step was a different scenery. Yang Wu was not in the mood to appreciate it. He followed the young eunuch and prepared to leave. At this time, a palace maid hurriedly walked over and stopped the little eunuch. She then whispered into the little eunuch's ear, "Little Gizi, the princess wants to see the prince consort. You can leave now." Let me bring him to see the princess. I don't dare, the eunuch hurriedly replied. Then you should quickly go back. I will lead the way for the prince consort. The palace maid said and then walked over to Yang Wu. She bowed to Yang Wu and said, This servant will lead the way for Darren. The words she said in a low voice could be hidden from normal people, but it could not be hidden from Yang Wu. He had already heard every word she said. Yang Wu hesitated for a moment, but he still nodded and followed her. Soon, Yang Wu arrived at another courtyard. This courtyard was not far from the Yangxin Palace Hall. The Yangxin Palace Hall was filled with a noble aura, while the courtyard in front of him was much more elegant. There were all kinds of fresh flowers planted, and there was even a stream of clear spring water. There were even some young spirit rabbits jumping between the flowers. Between the flowers and plants, a girl dressed as a man was walking back and forth with a white paper fan in her hand. She appeared to be somewhat flustered. When she saw the palace maid bring Yang Wu over, her expression clearly changed. She lowered her head with a red face and bit her jade lips. Gathering her courage, she raised her head and stood where she was, waiting for Yang Wu to come over. Yang Wu pretended to be in a daze and said, Where is this? It doesn't seem to be the way out. Our prince wants to see you. The palace maid replied with a bit of a guilty conscience. Oh, I wonder which prince it is. Yang Wu asked. It is this prince. Tang Xiaohan came up and said. The redness on her face had not receded, but instead became more obvious. There was still some uncertainty in her eyes. Looking at Yang Wu at such a close distance, her heart was pounding. Yang Wu cupped his hands towards Tang Xiaohan and said, Yang Wu greets this prince. Tang Xiaohan pretended to be calm and said, No need to be so polite. I wonder why the prince wants to see Yang Wu? Yang Wu asked. Tang Xiaohan coughed lightly and said, This prince has long heard of General Yang's deeds at the border and specially invited you to come and chat. Seeing you today, you really are extraordinary, making this prince admire you. Yang Wu said with a smile. The prince must be joking. Yang Wu is only a reckless martial artist. How can I be extraordinary? In Yang Wu's opinion, the prince is the one who is truly young and talented, a dragon among men. General Yang is too modest. This prince has been paying attention to the war at the border for a long time. I wonder if General Yang can tell me how you managed to make the barbarian army choose to negotiate peace? Tang Xiaohan had already thought of a topic to ask. She took the initiative to approach Yang Wu because she wanted to understand Yang Wu's character. She also wanted to understand where Yang Wu's confidence came from to actually reject the marriage ordered by the emperor. This made her want to get closer to Yang Wu. What kind of man was this? Prince, the war at the border is hard to say. Yang Wu said with a troubled expression. Then he said, It's getting late. I really shouldn't stay in the palace for too long. Could it be that General Yang is looking down on this prince? Tang Xiaohan pretended to be dissatisfied. All right, then I'll talk about it. I said a lot in the morning court today, and my throat is so dry that I can't stand it anymore. Yang Wu reluctantly replied. Little Red, quickly bring the tea. Tang Xiaohan ordered. It's already noon. My stomach is about to be flat from hunger. Little Red, bring some snacks to entertain General Yang. There doesn't even seem to be a seat in this place. General Yang, please follow this prince. This prince will come over here to talk. Yang Wu looked at the princess who knew how to act. He couldn't help but think, this princess is quite cute. Even if the princess was dressed as a man, Yang Wu could still see that she was beautiful and refined. She really didn't disgrace her princess title. Unfortunately, he didn't have too many complicated thoughts. The other party wanted to test him, so he would just tease the other party. Yang Wu followed Tang Xiaohan to the pavilion. There was a guqin on the table and there were some fresh flowers on the table. It looked like they had just been picked not long ago. Yang Wu asked, So the prince is an elegant person who appreciates flowers. Tang Xiaohan's face turned red again. She hurriedly brushed away the flowers, revealing an embarrassed expression as she said, "I was only playing the zither. These flowers must have been thrown by the palace maid. I will definitely punish them later." A man loving flowers, this was a very strange phenomenon. It made her feel even more guilty. "Oh, so it's like this. I saw that there were so many fresh flowers in this courtyard. I thought the prince was a person who cherished flowers," Yang Wu said with a soft sigh. "Could it be that General Yang also cherishes flowers?" Tang Xiaohan asked back. "Yes, looking at such beautiful flowers, anyone would feel better, especially people like us who often go through life and death situations. We cherish the brilliance and beauty in front of us more because we don't know when our lives will wither like the flowers." As Yang Wu spoke, he remembered when he had first become a prison slave soldier and the situation when he fought against the barbarians. There really was the possibility of losing his life at any time. The other soldiers also died at the drop of a hat. There really was no mercy to speak of. His appearance was slightly calm and there was a hint of maturity in his sharp edges. It really made Tang Xiaohan, who was on the side, mesmerized. On the day Yang Wu returned to Wang City, she saw Yang Wu. He kowtowed to his parents from 100 feet away and had already become a story of a filial son in Wang City. At the time, she had a very high opinion of him. Now, looking at his unaffected appearance, she was completely mesmerized. Yang Wu came back to his senses and looked at Tang Xiaohan, who was staring at him blankly. He said, "Prince, is there a flower on my face?" Tang Xiaohan quickly turned her face away. No, I just didn't think that the border would be so dangerous. General Yang was able to achieve such a great military achievement. It really is inconceivable. Of course it wasn't easy. I experienced a situation of near death and was lucky enough to come back alive," Yang Wu replied. At this time, a few palace maids came in one after another with tea and snack. They quickly retreated. Tang Xiaohan told Yang Wu to drink water and eat snacks first and then listen to him talk about the border. Yang Wu did not hold back and quickly threw the crystal-like snacks into his mouth. After a while, he finished them all and said with dissatisfaction, "Your Highness, can you give me a few more of these snacks? I am a rough person who came back from the border. I don't have any other skills but I eat a lot." He purposely showed this kind of image to make the princess in front of him give up on the idea of testing him. Who knew that Tang Xiaohan did not think this in her heart? She felt that Yang Wu's rough appearance was very unique and praised in her heart, "This is a real man." Tang Xiaohan asked the palace maids to serve another 10 servings of desserts. Yang Wu, on the other hand, was eating while talking about the matters at the border. He did not talk about anything serious. Most of what he said was made up. Except for the war itself, which was true, the rest were just embellishments. He described how mighty and extraordinary he was, how domineering he was, how he led his troops to kill the barbarian race, and how he killed them 7 times. In the end, the barbarian race submitted to him and was willing to propose a peace treaty. This kind of nonsense, no matter who heard it, could tell that it was just boasting. However, Tang Xiaohan was as pure as boiled water. She did not come in contact with the complicated world and completely believed it. She felt that Yang Wu definitely had this kind of ability. Otherwise, how could he achieve this kind of merit at such a young age? Thus, her gaze towards Yang Wu became even brighter. Yang Wu already felt that something was wrong. He felt that the princess in front of him did not seem to dislike him. He boldly touched the princess's hand that was on the table, causing the princess to scream in fright and pull her hand back. "What are you doing?" Tang Xiaohan shrunk back and asked. "Your Royal Highness, you're so handsome that I can't help but like you. I hope you don't mind." Yang Wu looked at Tang Xiaohan affectionately as he spoke. Tang Xiaohan was so scared that her face turned pale and her hair stood on end. Chapter 328. Yang Wu left Tang Xiaohan's flower courtyard in a relaxed manner. Along the way, he hummed a little tune and was in an extremely good mood. Thinking about how he had teased Tang Xiaohan to the point of crying, he felt a sense of accomplishment in his heart. He secretly laughed. This time, that girl won't have any ideas about this duke anymore. Suddenly, he slapped his forehead and cried out, "Oh no, if that girl spreads what happened just now, wouldn't this duke's reputation be ruined?" Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret. He had already done it. He only hoped that Tang Xiaohan would keep her mouth shut and not spread rumors that he was a glass man. Yang Wu shook off these small worries and directly headed in the direction of the medicine hall. He was going to plunder some herbs and see if there were any heaven medicine he wanted. He still needed to refine the heaven reversal pill for his father and still lacked a few main ingredients. Among them, the heaven medicine was even harder to find. He hoped that the medicine hall had it. The main reason he offered the pill to the emperor was to enter the medicine hall. All of this was part of his plan. Otherwise, it would not be easy for him to find those heaven medicine by himself. After Yang Wu left, Tang Xiaohan, who was in the courtyard, suddenly cried out, "Damn it, I was tricked by him." "Princess, what's wrong with you?" Tang Xiaohan's personal palace maid, Little Red, asked. "I was tricked by Yang Wu." Tang Xiaohan clenched her fists and gritted her teeth, revealing an extremely cute appearance. "He's so bold, he actually dares to lie to the princess," Little Red said angrily. After pausing for a moment, she asked in a low voice, "What did he lie to the princess about?" "He lied to me. He lied to me that he likes men," Tang Xiaohan said with a shy expression. "Maybe he really likes men." "Princess, I think you should forget about it," Little Red advised. Little Red had a good impression of Yang Wu, but she also saw Yang Wu secretly touching the princess's hand. She also saw Yang Wu drooling at the princess, which made her feel disgusted. If the princess showed her real face, she would not care, but the princess was disguised as a man, which also proved that Yang Wu liked men. Who could accept such a man? Tang Xiaohan said, "That's why I said he lied to me. He doesn't like men at all. He has already seen through my identity as a woman." "That can't be. Princess, you're dressed like a man. How could he tell?" Little Red was puzzled. "Do you still remember the day he came back? There was a beautiful woman on the turtle demon he was sitting on. This proves that he likes women. Maybe he likes both men and women." "No, he didn't ask me which prince I was from the moment he came in. Moreover, my garden is filled with fresh flowers. He should have guessed that I'm a girl long ago. I was even scared by him. This guy is really hateful." "That seems to be the case. Then what should the princess do? Should we capture him?" "Forget it, there will be plenty of time in the future. I must let him know how powerful this princess is." Fu'an Imperial Mansion. After Prince Fu'an came back, his face has been black. Today, he put down his face and went to resolve the grievances between Yang Wu and them. However, Yang Wu didn't appreciate it. "It's really hateful." After thinking for a while, Prince Fu'an went to a secret room and quickly went underground. This secret room was a private forbidden area under his mansion. No one knows about its existence. When he walked in, a burst of stench came out. The strong smell of blood made people feel disgusted. He kept walking inside and found a lot of human limbs and blood. It was like a slaughterhouse, which was quite terrifying. At the same time, an extremely strong death aura came out, accompanied by a beast-like roar. Roar! Die! Kill! Inside the room, a person was locked in an iron cage made of top-grade royal materials. The iron cage was enchanted with an array, locking the person inside. The person was exuding a death aura. His hair was messy and stained with blood. His hands and feet were locked with black iron. There were a lot of broken limbs and blood in the cage, which was so shocking. Wang Ye. Two people came out from the dark and greeted Prince Fu'an. Both of them were wearing ferocious masks and cloaks. The aura of kings was faintly discernible around them. Prince Fu'an looked at the person in the cage and said to the two people beside him, "I want him to go out and kill a person." Wang Ye, who do you want to kill? The person on the right asked. Prince Fuan said, Can he be controlled? There should be no problem for half a day. The person on the left said. The other side has a heavenly realm powerhouse. Prince Fuan said with a frown. He can even kill a heavenly realm powerhouse. Wang Ye knows this better than the two of us. Well, you take good care of him for the next few days. I must kill that kid. Song Family Mansion. After Song Xiang came back, his face showed a trace of tiredness. He lay on the armchair and let the maidservant massage his shoulders. After a while, Song Yuming came over and waved the maidservant away. He massaged his father like a good son. After a long time, Song Yuming finally couldn't help but ask, Father, what happened in the morning court today? You really can't keep calm. Song Xiang squinted his eyes and said. After a pause he added, That kid has risen. His momentum is irresistible. Even the Emperor has no way to deal with him. How is this possible? Song Yuming said in disbelief. Nothing is impossible. He has a heavenly realm powerhouse behind him. He got a great opportunity. Song Xiang said with a sigh. What should I do? He will definitely retaliate against me. Song Yuming said in a panic. Look at your virtue. You just encountered something, and you are already so flustered. How can you inherit your father's mantle in the future? Song Xiang said with disappointment. Then he added, Immediately send a message to your brother and sister. Tell them to come back as soon as possible. Great. As long as brother and sister come back, even if that little bastard has great ability, he will have to obediently lie down and wait for death. Song Yuming said in surprise. Don't think so highly of yourself. It has only been a short year since he was abolished and rose to become a king. He won't be defeated so easily. As long as he knows how powerful our family is, he will know when to stop. Maybe there will be a chance to shake hands and make peace. Father, he and I are mortal enemies. How can we shake hands and make peace? You have to remember that there are no eternal friends, and no eternal enemies. There are only eternal interests. Chao Mansion. This was the home of Lieutenant General Chao Jianda. Their Chao family's old man was also a marquis. The Chao family was one of the nobles in the imperial city. Old Master Chao was still alive. Even though he had already retired, his influence was still extraordinary. He was a person who had followed the previous emperor and made illustrious military achievements. Chao Jianda returned home from the morning assembly with a big smile on his face. When Madame Chao saw her husband smiling so happily, she couldn't help but ask, Master, did something good happen during the morning assembly? Hee, I can't hide it from you. Chao Jianda replied with a smile. It's written all over your face. Can't I see it? Madame Chao said. I did encounter some happy things. Chao Jianda replied. However, he didn't want to dwell on this matter. Instead, he changed the topic and asked, Didn't Fanny say that she would be coming back soon? Where is she? Maybe in 2 days. The time for Amei's outer sect disciple recruitment has been confirmed. Before she participates in the test, she will definitely come back. Madame Chao replied. Yes. She must come back. I have to find her a good son-in-law. Chao Jianda said. Master, didn't you always think that Fanny should find a young king to be her son-in-law in the transcendent world? Why do you want to find her a partner now? The child I'm looking for is a young king. He's many times better than our disappointing son. Which family's child is it that you like him so much? Yang Wu of the Yang family. To the east of the imperial city, there was an independent faction called the Medicine King Pavilion. The Medicine King Pavilion was a faction outside of the imperial city's control. However, it was still within the imperial city's territory. Furthermore, it sucked all of the imperial city's resources. Because of their extraordinary status, the imperial city had to treat them with respect. There was a majestic hall called the Medicine King Pavilion. With it as the center, a city within a city was built. The people who lived here were all alchemists. The Medicine King Pavilion's old pavilion master, Yao Yanhai, was publicly recognized as the #1 alchemist in the imperial city. It was rumored that he was once a member of a transcendent faction. Later on, for some unknown reason, he returned to his hometown and established the Medicine King Pavilion. He began to control all of the alchemists in the imperial city and made them submit to him. He established the Medicine King Pavilion. 2/3 of the pills in the imperial city were supplied by the Medicine King Pavilion. Every year, the soldiers in the imperial city's north and south borders required large amounts of healing pills. Just based on this, the Medicine King Pavilion could collect much of the imperial city's wealth and become the wealthiest faction in the imperial city. The imperial city had tried many times to incorporate the Medicine King Pavilion, but it was to no avail. It was because Yao Yanhai had a heavenly fish realm expert behind him that the imperial city could only compromise and allow him to exist and control the lifeline of the imperial city's pills. In the towering Medicine King Pavilion, there was a person sitting on the main seat, listening to the report of the person kneeling on the ground. The person sitting on the main seat was very young and looked to be in his early 30s. He was not considered handsome, but he was not ugly either. He belonged to the type that was determined and ugly. He wore a unique robe and his body seemed to be suffused with a ball of flame. His aura was quite shocking. The only person who dared to sit on the Medicine King Pavilion's pavilion master's seat, besides Yao Yanhai, was his son, Yao Lingyu. He was the person who truly controlled the Medicine King Pavilion. After Yao Lingyu finished listening to his subordinate's report, a cold smile appeared on his face. He muttered to himself, the face-retaining pill. I've been dreaming of this pill for a long time. Now it's come at the right time. Chapter 329. The Medicine Hall Storehouse was the most important hall in the Grand Xia dynasty. It was located in the southeast direction of the Imperial Palace. There were a total of 10 pavilions, all of which belonged to the Medicine Hall Storehouse. Here, there were thousands of people identifying medicinal herbs every day. They were constantly categorized and placed. Ordinary medicinal herbs were placed in one of the pavilions, valuable medicinal herbs were placed in another, commonly used old medicinal herbs were placed in another, and those that had reached the level of spirit medicine were gathered together. This was to make it easier to find and manage them. Not all of these pavilions were for storing herbs. Some of them were for people to live in, and one of them was for the medicine priest to live in. The Medicine Hall Storehouse was an important place in the Grand Xia dynasty. The medicinal herbs of the entire Grand Xia dynasty were gathered here, and the reserves should be very shocking. In fact, it was so. However, most of them were ordinary herbs, and most of them were old herbs. The amount of herbs that reached the level of spiritual herbs was very rare, and even fewer were medicine kings. After Yang Wu arrived here, he strolled around a few medicine storehouses and was greatly disappointed. Originally, he came to look for heavenly herbs or medicine kings, but looking at these ordinary herbs, it was simply hard to believe that this was the Medicine Hall storehouse of the Grand Xia dynasty. Where is the medicine hall? Yang Wu asked the medicine boy beside him. This medicine boy was not a real child, but a manager who worked in the Medicine Hall storehouse. He followed beside Yang Wu in a servile manner. This was a lord that the medicine priest had personally ordered to accompany, so he did not dare to be negligent. When the medicine boy suddenly heard Yang Wu's question, he hurriedly pointed to another storehouse and said, "Lord, please come this way." Thus, Yang Wu quickly walked towards the storehouse on the opposite side. Every storehouse was actually sealed very tightly, and there was no moisture or cold air coming in. After walking into the storehouse, a medicinal fragrance would assail the nostrils. In this storehouse, the area that it occupied was not small, but unfortunately, the medicinal herbs displayed here still disappointed Yang Wu. In this vast space, there were actually only a few thousand stalks of spiritual herbs, and many of them were some very valuable spiritual herbs. It was hard to imagine that this was the reserve of a medicine hall storehouse. The spiritual herbs here were all eaten by dogs, no, by rats? How can there be so little? Yang Wu loudly reprimanded. The apprentice replied nervously, Sir, that's all. Call your manager over. I want to ask, our Grand Xia dynasty receives so many spiritual medicines as tribute every year. Even if it's a city, the amount of spiritual medicines we get is more than this. Why would they disappear without a trace? Yang Wu continued. He was not an imperial envoy. He simply wanted to find out who was so daring to even swallow the national medicine storehouse. Their courage was not small. Even if the other party was a medicine priest, he still had to ask. How could such a small amount of herbs be enough? He still had to refine the weather reversal pill and the heavenly soul pill. He had spent so much effort to come here, and seeing such a storehouse made his heart ache. He believed that the old medicines and spirit medicines here must have been embezzled by someone. It was really hateful. Just as the apprentice was about to go find the manager, a voice rang out from within the medicine storehouse. Who is making such a big fuss here? How impudent! There were people in every medicine storehouse. They specialized in the care of medicinal herbs. The person who spoke was not a medicinal herb care worker, but an outsider who had come to the medicine storehouse a step before Yang Wu. Looking carefully, he saw a man and a woman on a shelf in the corner. They were both quite young. They were not wearing the uniform of the medicine storehouse, nor were they wearing the uniform of an official. Instead, they were wearing the uniform of a certain power. The man and woman's appearances were very ordinary, but their faces were full of arrogance. It was as if this spirit medicine hall belonged to their family. Who are they? Yang Wu looked at the young man and woman and asked the apprentice. The apprentice trembled and wanted to reply, but the other party had already walked over. The man who had just spoken opened his mouth again and said, get out immediately. Don't obstruct me and my junior apprentice sister from identifying medicine here. Who are they? Yang Wu ignored the other party and asked the apprentice again. The apprentice quickly replied, They are the lords of the Medicine King Pavilion. Since you know we are from the Medicine King Pavilion, then get out of here quickly. The young man reprimanded again. Yang Wu frowned and said, The Medicine King Pavilion and the Medicine Storehouse don't seem to be in the same place. The apprentice did not dare to reply. He lightly tugged on Yang Wu's sleeve and said, Master Yang, let's leave first. Yang Wu smiled faintly and said, There really isn't anyone who can make me leave. Even if the medicine priest was here, he would not dare to speak to him like this. The Medicine King Pavilion's mouth was really big. Yang Wu knew of the Medicine King Pavilion. This was a power that could transcend the control of the imperial court. They controlled the lifeline of most of the imperial court's medicinal pills, and their status was very high. Normal powers and clans would not offend them. Even the imperial family respected them. It was clear how powerful their power was. Yang Wu did not think that the Medicine King Pavilion's people would be in the medicine storehouse. At the same time, he did not understand why they were here. However, from their tone, he could tell that they were regular customers here. The man stepped forward and pointed at Yang Wu's nose and said, I don't care who you are. Get out of here immediately. No one dares to go against the orders of our Medicine King Pavilion. The woman also opened her mouth and said, You're really handsome. If you call me big sister, I'll let you stay for a chat. Junior apprentice sister, don't fall for this kind of useless silver spear powder. The man reminded the woman. Then he scolded Yang Wu, Pretty boy, get out of here immediately. Get as far away as you can. Don't let me see you again. Your saliva is all over my face. Yang Wu said calmly. Tui. That man still wanted a yard after taking an inch. He actually spat at Yang Wu. Fortunately, Yang Wu's reaction was fast enough and nimbly dodged the saliva. However, The medicine boy behind Yang Wu was not so lucky and was spat directly. The medicine boy wanted to cry, but he did not dare to. He did not even have time to wipe the saliva off before he really cried out. Bang! The man who spat at Yang Wu was sent flying with a kick from Yang Wu. The medicine boy could not help but cry. This time it was a big mess. You have guts. You dare to hurt my senior apprentice brother Liang. Someone come quickly. The woman hurriedly cried out. Go ahead and shout. I want to see if this medicine storehouse is your Medicine King Pavilion's back garden. Yang Wu said in a low voice. The people of the Medicine King Pavilion were too arrogant. They actually spat at him. Even a clay figurine had 3 fires, let alone Yang Wu who defied the imperial edict. Soon, a group of guards rushed over from outside the medicine storehouse. They were the guards who guarded this medicine storehouse. The leader asked, "What happened?" "Quickly take him down. He dared to hit my senior apprentice brother. I want him to be punished." The woman pointed at Yang Wu and said sternly. When she finished speaking, Yang Wu continuously slapped her face in front of these guards. Slap. The woman was completely dumbfounded. As a member of the Medicine King Pavilion, she was respected wherever she went. However, she met a hothead in front of her who did not put the people of the Medicine King Pavilion in his eyes. It was really torturous. "What are you all still standing there for? Quickly kill him." The man who got up shouted at the guards. However, these guards did not make a move. Yang Wu came out of the palace wearing battle armor. This level of battle armor was something that only a lieutenant general was qualified to wear. How could they easily offend him? "Sir, please have mercy," the guard leader said. No matter what, he still had to give face to the people of the Medicine King Pavilion. He had to speak. After Yang Wu slapped the woman a few times, he stopped and said, "Blind people, the ones who should get lost are you. Did you eat shit? I didn't see him so arrogant. Quickly take him down." The man of the Medicine King Pavilion scolded the guard again. "Sorry, this is a general of the Imperial Court. We have no right to take him," the guard leader said with a frown. Yang Wu showed his badge and said to the guard, "Throw them out." After the guard leader saw the badge, he immediately knelt down and said, "Yes, General." He already felt that Yang Wu's identity was not ordinary. However, after seeing the badge, he realized that it was more terrifying than he imagined. It was actually a lieutenant general badge. This was an important person who was comparable to the commander of the Imperial Guards. Although the other party had no right to order them to do anything, they had to give face to such an important person. Moreover, the people of the Medicine King Pavilion were really annoying. "The 2 of you can leave. Don't make us use force," the guard leader said to the man and woman very politely. "Bastard, you dare to offend our Medicine King Pavilion?" the man scolded. "Our 7th senior brother is here," the woman said again. Before she could finish, Yang Wu said again, "Throw them out." "Yes, General." The guard leader did not dare to delay. He quickly had a few subordinates force the 2 people of the Medicine King Pavilion out. "Good, very good. You wait," the man said with an ashen face. "Senior brother Liang, let's go find 7th senior brother," the woman also said angrily. The 2 people of the Medicine King Pavilion were quickly taken away by the guards. The elixir storehouse quieted down. "Are the people of the Medicine King Pavilion very scary? Why are you shaking so hard?" Yang Wu asked the trembling medicine boy. "Sir, you've caused trouble. The Medicine King Pavilion has always treated our medicine hall storehouse as their back garden. They've taken most of the herbs that were offered as tribute here. Only the remaining ones are left here. Even the medicine priest did not give them a discount," the medicine boy said while crying. "Oh, they're so overbearing. The emperor doesn't care?" Yang Wu asked in surprise. "I heard that the palace already knew about this, but it's still the same." The medicine boy quickly lowered his voice and said, "Sir, you should leave quickly. There are many people of the Medicine King Pavilion here. They often come here to identify herbs and collect herbs. Some of them, even the guards, don't dare to do anything to them. Looks like the Medicine King Pavilion is really overbearing. Yang Wu sighed. He more or less understood the situation between the Medicine King Pavilion and the Medicine Hall's storehouse. The Medicine King Pavilion was bullying the host. It was really powerful. But would Yang Wu be afraid? Yang Wu turned and walked to the pile of elixir. He carefully looked for herbs. In his heart, he hoped that the people of the Medicine King Pavilion would come back and cause trouble for him. Chapter 330. Several thousand spirit herbs in this storehouse, it really did not seem like much. Yang Wu walked here, slowly choosing the spirit herbs that he wanted. Little Hay popped out of nowhere, holding a stalk of spirit herb in its mouth as it began to chew on it. There really isn't much good stuff here. It's all been cleared out by the people of the Medicine King Pavilion. Of course there isn't anything good. Yang Wu sighed lightly. Even so, the people here have eyes but do not recognize Mount Tai. A stalk of heavenly medicine was abandoned by them. Little Hay said, then jumped in a direction, arriving in front of a transparent jade box, and opened the jade box. This jade box was marked with the words, High-level Spirit Herb Soul Flower, which had the effect of reviving souls and creating souls. Yang Wu walked over and looked at that stalk of soul flower, feeling that this flower was indeed full of spirit qi, but he could not tell that it was a stalk of heavenly medicine. He asked, Little Hay, is this really a heavenly medicine? Every stalk of heavenly medicine was priceless, and the medicinal qi was astonishing. Even if it was picked, it would still have a moving luster. This stalk of spirit flower in front of him seemed to have some spirit qi, but the medicinal fragrance it emitted was not particularly strong, and from its appearance, it did not seem to be very old. Look carefully, what is that little bit on the flower? Little Hay pointed at the petals and said. Yang Wu looked carefully. At first he did not find anything strange, but after looking carefully, he found that there were very small silver lights on the petals, just like stars. They were too small, and those who did not have good eyesight would not be able to see them clearly. He softly said, Could this be a star soul flower? Star soul flower was a special kind of heavenly medicine. Its petals' star patterns were hidden very small, and its medicinal strength was mainly contained in the star patterns on the petals. It was a strange flower that grew at night by absorbing the power of the stars, and was very beneficial to the soul. That's right, it's a star soul flower. It really is a waste of heavenly medicine. Little Hay said, and then it was about to throw the star spirit flower into its mouth, scaring Yang Wu so much that he hurriedly stopped it. Little Hay, don't eat it. This is a heavenly medicine that can cure ice and snow. Save what? She can protect you for a period of time, Little Hay replied in annoyance. Yang Wu ignored its words and snatched the star soul flower over, immediately storing it into the Qian Kuan space before saying, How can I want a woman to protect me for my entire life? When she gets better, that's the most important thing. During these days, Meng Bingxue was always with him. Even at night, she would sit in his room. If he wanted to do something to her, she wouldn't refuse. However, Yang Wu was not that despicable. Their hearts were connected by accident. She might have thought of him as that Mingzi, and he was also affected by that memory. He pitied her very much. Naturally, he wanted her to get better as soon as possible. After she recovered, he didn't know if she would still remember him. This was not something he cared about. As a man, he didn't want to be protected by a woman for his entire life. He wanted to be the man who protected her and get justice for her. It's good that you think this way, Little Hay replied. Yang Wu then said, Quickly see if there are any other good medicines that were left behind. Let's pick them up. Yang Wu was able to obtain the Emperor's permission to come here to pick medicine, so he naturally wouldn't let go of this opportunity to take advantage of others. This was considered an additional compensation for him. Yang Wu and Little Hay picked several hundred spirit medicines, saying that they were going to refine the face-preserving pill for the Empress. No one dared to say a word, and the medicine boy didn't dare to say anything. In any case, Yang Wu was the honorary medicine priest here. Just as Yang Wu took these spirit medicines out of the medicine storehouse and was about to head to the king medicine storehouse, he was blocked by people. The man and woman who had just been beaten came back. There were several people beside them, especially the young man in the lead. He had an extraordinary aura like a ball of fire. Just standing there gave people a burning feeling. "Seventh senior brother, he's the one who hit us." The woman pointed at Yang Wu and shouted. The man also said, "Yes, we already said that we were from the Medicine King Pavilion, but he still didn't let us go. He's really going too far." The man and woman were called Liang Lang and He Yunduo. They were both disciples of the Medicine King Pavilion. The one they were supporting was their seventh senior brother, Wu Nan. There were 10 young alchemists in the Medicine King Pavilion who were the Pavilion Master's direct disciples. Wu Nan was one of them, ranked 7. The reason they appeared at the Medicine King Pavilion was to bring their junior brothers and sisters to learn how to identify herbs. At the same time, they also collected some good herbs to bring back to the Medicine King Pavilion. In reality, they had indeed treated the Medicine Hall storehouse as the backyard of the Medicine King's Pavilion. 70% of the herbs had been taken away by them under the pretext that it was for the imperial court to refine medicinal pills. However, the amount of medicinal pills that they had supplied to the imperial court was much less compared to the herbs that they had taken away from here. The medicine priest expressed his dissatisfaction more than once. Unfortunately, even if he belonged to the Medicine King Pavilion, he was still far from the one in the Medicine King Pavilion. What's more, the Medicine King Pavilion didn't only have one Medicine King, but a total of 3. There were also many alchemists who relied on them, leaving him helpless. "How should I address you, General? How did my junior brothers and sisters offend you to make you so angry?" Wu Nan welcomed Yang Wu and said faintly. At the same time, he stuck out his chest, revealing the badge on his chest. It was the publicly recognized symbol of the Medicine King Pavilion's spiritual alchemist rank. Seeing that Wu Nan was only around 25 years old, he could become a spiritual alchemist. For an alchemist profession, it was quite amazing. Wu Nan was not a fool. From Yang Wu's attire, he could tell that he was a general. Moreover, such a young general was rarely seen. He guessed that Yang Wu might be a young master from some family. However, no matter which family he was from, offending the Medicine King Pavilion would not end well. Dog eyes grow in the sky, anyone would be angry. Yang Wu looked at Wu Nan and replied forcefully. "Is that so? The people of our Medicine King's Pavilion are rarely bullied in the royal city. Which family are you from? From now on, our Medicine King's Pavilion will no longer sell you any pills. No one in the royal court will sell you any pills." Wu Nan smiled faintly. "Haha, such big words." Yang Wu sneered and continued, "The medicine storehouse can also refine pills. Could it be that they can't provide me with pills? They really don't dare. If you don't believe me, you can ask." Wu Nan crossed his arms and said. Yang Wu turned to the medicine boy and asked, "Can this lord not get the medicine priest's pills?" I don't know. You should ask the medicine priest." The medicine boy was so anxious that he wanted to cry. "Then there's no need to ask. I am the medicine priest," Yang Wu said. "Haha, this joke really isn't funny." Wu Nan laughed. The people around him also sneered, thinking that Yang Wu was giving himself a way out. He then said, "Kneel down and kowtow to admit your wrongs. Otherwise, there will be no place for you or your family in the royal city." The Medicine King's Pavilion's control over pills was very tyrannical. Many powers had to curry favor with them. If they offended them, they would use their connections and could isolate any family. There was once a family that was forced to leave the royal city because of them. Since then, they had declined. The tyranny of the Medicine King's Pavilion could be seen. "Guards, immediately get all these people out of the Medicine Hall storehouse and forbid them from entering in the future." Yang Wu shouted at the guards who were standing nearby. One of the guards ran over and said, "Sir, we can't do this. They are people of the Medicine King's pavilion. They have the privilege to enter and leave as they please." "Who gave them this privilege?" Yang Wu asked. "It was the Emperor himself," the guard commander replied. "Did you hear that? We are people with special privileges. You dare to provoke our Medicine King's pavilion. You're dead," Liang Lang shouted. He Yunduo also sneered and said, "It's too late to kneel now. Seventh senior brother, I think we should investigate his background. We should make him lose all standing and reputation and get the hell out of the royal city." The people beside Wu Nan also began to speak. They all treated Yang Wu's threat as a joke. The guard commander also lowered his head and didn't dare to speak. He sighed in his heart. Of all people to offend, you had to offend the people of the Medicine King's pavilion. Sometimes they are even scarier than the royal family. "How about it? Do you understand the power of our Medicine King's pavilion?" Wu Nan looked at Yang Wu with disdain. Yang Wu didn't speak. Instead, he fished around his waist and took out a token. He threw it at the guard commander and said, "Throw them all out for me. In the future, no one will be in charge of the medicine storehouse. This medicine priest will be in charge. If the emperor has anything to say, tell him to come find me." Yang Wu had already been conferred the title of honorary medicine priest. Although the real power was with the medicine priest, he, as the honorary medicine priest, could also command everyone in the medicine priest. The guard commander picked up the token. His hands trembled. He raised his head and asked, "Sir, you are?" "Yang Wu." Yang Wu responded simply. "So it's the honorary medicine priest. This subordinate knows his mistake." The guard commander knelt and said, "Those who don't know are not guilty. Throw them out for me." Yang Wu emphasized again. "But sir, they have," the guard commander said again. Before he could finish, Yang Wu interrupted him and said, "I said that I have the final say in the medicine storehouse. I think the medicine priest won't have any objections. I will take responsibility for the emperor. Thinking that I have disobeyed the edict a few times, the emperor has been tolerant of me. This time, he won't mind taking care of a few people who don't have eyes." "Yes, my lord." The guard commander made up his mind and responded. These guards had had enough of the faces of these Medicine King's pavilion disciples. Not only were they looked down on for a long time, they also had to listen to their orders. They were completely treated like their own servants. It really made them angry. Moreover, Yang Wu's name had long spread to every corner of the imperial city. His repeated disobedience of the edict was even more widely known. Until now, Yang Wu was still fine and hadn't received any punishment. He was even conferred the title of honorary medicine priest. Even a fool knew that Yang Wu's ability was extraordinary. Who dares? What kind of existence is our Medicine King's pavilion? Think carefully. Wu Nan saw that the guards had surrounded them and shouted loudly. Chapter 331. The people of the Medicine King Pavilion were tyrannical in King City, but many people dared not speak out. They had gathered many alchemists, and each alchemist was incomparably noble. They could have many experts protect them, so it was easy for them to deal with anyone. Even the royal family gave them face, so it could be seen how powerful they were. After these guards heard Wu Nan's reprimand, they became timid again. No matter what, their home was still in King City. If they offended these people, it would not be easy for them to survive. "You don't dare to deal with them?" Yang Wu asked the guards. The guard commander was a bit more unyielding. He faced Wu Nan and the others and shouted, "Our lord has spoken. Please leave." "Chen Xiang, you have big dog gut. Do you believe that I won't have you scram from King City tomorrow?" Wu Nan pointed at Chen Xiang's nose and scolded. "I am the guard commander of the medicine hall's warehouse. My lord has given orders, so I have no choice but to obey. Please leave immediately." Chen Xiang emphasized again. Yang Wu's eyes flashed with a trace of appreciation. He could see that this commander still had some courage. I won't leave. Let's see what you can do to me. Wu Nan responded with the same strength. Men, chase them out for me. Chen Xiang was not going to stop until he was done. He shouted at his subordinates. The guards had no choice but to obey. They quickly surrounded these people and drove Wu Nan and the others away. Wu Nan and the others were alchemists, so their martial arts were not very strong. Their faces were full of anger, but they could not change the fact that they were being driven away. Wu Nan stared back at Yang Wu and said, "I'll remember you, Yang Wu. Quickly scram. In the future, no one from the Medicine King Pavilion is allowed to take half a step here. Whoever dares to come in again, break their legs." Yang Wu waved his hand and said, Hey, wait and see." Wu Nan sneered. He flicked his sleeves and led everyone away. Everyone could feel the fierce revenge behind Wu Nan's sneer. Yang Wu did not put this threat in his eyes. If he was not in a good mood, he would have directly sent them flying. As soon as they left, the medicine priest appeared. Honorable medicine priest. The people here, except for Yang Wu, all saluted and greeted him. Yang Wu bowed to the medicine priest and said, "Medicine priest, this is the backyard of the Medicine King Pavilion. Don't you feel ashamed at all?" The medicine priest pinched his beard and smiled bitterly. "How could I not feel it? Unfortunately, I am not the opponent of that old man, Yao Yanhai. Now, I can't even compare to his son. I don't have the face to challenge them," which led to the decline of the medicine hall. "So, you deliberately didn't come out so that I could have a conflict with them?" Yang Wu asked. The medicine priest replied, "Don't tell me you want an old man like me to compete with these juniors? Alright, since you've put it this way, then you'll take care of the big things here in the future. I'll take care of the small things. However, I'll first check the new medicines that will be offered as tribute in the future. What do you think?" Yang Wu said with a sly expression. "You're already an honored medicine priest. This kind of work is natural." The medicine priest said with a satisfied expression. "Alright, it's a deal." Yang Wu said with satisfaction. Then he said, "Medicine priest, I want to find some good medicine to refine the face-preserving pill for the Empress. What you have here are all inferior product. I think you must have some good things. Quickly take me to see them." The medicine priest bitterly smiled and said, "Follow me." Thus, the medicine priest personally led Yang Wu in a direction. That was the backyard where the medicine priest lived. Other than him, only his loyal subordinates could approach that place. No one else was allowed to enter. Little Hay murmured on Yang Wu's shoulder, "I've already smelled a strong medicinal fragrance. It seems like this old man really has some good things in his collection. That's a must. If I were the medicine priest, I would definitely collect some good goods to prevent the Medicine King Pavilion from taking them all away." Yang Wu was not an idiot. Of course, he could understand that the medicine priest was the person in charge here. How could he not have some private goods? He would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. Soon, they arrived at the medicine priest's backyard. They walked towards an unremarkable house. Yang Wu felt the presence of a king in that direction. The other party hid it well, but it could not escape his senses. He thought to himself, "It seems like there are many hidden goods here." The medicine priest personally opened the door to the house. This was a storage room. There were only a few messy things inside, but who would have thought that there was a basement in this storage room? This was where the medicine priest hid his good things. After Yang Wu followed the medicine priest down, a strong medicinal fragrance wafted into his nose. He found that this wide basement was filled with all kinds of herbs. He was shocked. This basement was at least 1,000 square meters in size. There were dozens of different shelves placed here, displaying many well-preserved medicinal herbs. Every stalk emitted a strong medicinal fragrance, and there were countless sparkling lights shining. These were the lights of the spirit herbs and king herbs that had been picked. There were at least 50,000 stalks here, and every stalk was at the spirit herb level or above. This was the true national medicine warehouse. For the sake of the imperial court, this old man has put in a lot of effort. The medicine priest sighed. Yang Wu was sure that the medicine priest's words were sincere. If the medicine priest had hidden so many good things for his own use, there was no need to show them to him. Medicine priest, you have worked hard, Yang Wu said, and could not wait to pick the herbs he needed. The medicine priest was very generous and did not care about Yang Wu at all, allowing him to choose as he pleased. He only muttered to himself, "The Medicine King's Hall is very powerful and has roped in many pharmacists." Those pharmacists did not want to be bound by the imperial court, so they all joined the Medicine King's Hall, resulting in the Medicine King's Hall's dominance. Although the Medicine Hall has roped in a few loyal and patriotic pharmacists, there is no way they can compare to the other party. The imperial court also has no way to deal with them. They also have people behind them, resulting in them becoming more and more rampant, and already do not put the imperial court in their eyes. It was unknown whether Yang Wu heard the medicine priest's words. He picked out one herb after another. His eyes shone as he muttered to himself, "Thousand-year ginseng king, earth spirit root, these are all the best of the medicine king." Very quickly, Yang Wu was like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. He collected the thousands of spirit herbs and medicine king into his bag. He was not courteous to the medicine priest at all. Little Hay also took the opportunity to swallow a few spirit herbs and 2 medicine king. Looking at Yang Wu, she felt her heart ache. Yang Wu walked to the square shelf in the center and saw that there were dozens of heaven medicines in the crystal cover. He immediately cried out involuntarily, "Fog fruit, flood dragon vine." This time, even the medicine priest could not remain calm. He quickly rushed in front of Yang Wu and said, "Yang Wu, don't touch these treasures. No, I must have the fog fruit and flood dragon vine." Yang Wu said very firmly. These 2 herbs were the real main ingredients to restore his father's body. He saw them here and naturally did not want to let them go. No, every stalk of heaven medicine is priceless. It is a life-saving medicine left for the royal family. You can't touch it, the medicine priest said firmly. I won't take it for nothing. How about I take out the face-preserving pill formula and exchange it with you? Yang Wu tempted. The medicine priest shook his head and said, "No. I'll exchange the heaven medicine with you," Yang Wu said in a deep voice. "Do you really have heaven medicine?" the medicine priest asked. Yang Wu did not hesitate to take out the heaven medicine that he had obtained from the ice mountain in the Ice Wolf Valley. These were 2 stalks of heaven medicine with ice profound chi and water profound chi. Their value was not inferior to the fog fruit and flood dragon vine in front of him. The medicine priest's eyesight was extraordinary. He distinguished for a moment and said, let's exchange. Heaven medicine of the same value is not considered a loss. Don't worry, I'll also write out the face-preserving pill formula for you. However, you can't spread it out." Yang Wu saw that the medicine priest was so straightforward and also returned the favor. "You know how to conduct yourself." The medicine priest looked at Yang Wu in a new light. Previously, his impression of Yang Wu was that he was too sharp and easy to break. Now, it seemed that Yang Wu was not as simple as he thought. This was a young count with wisdom and brains. "Thank you for the compliment. I'll accept it." Yang Wu was satisfied and exchanged the 2 stalks of heaven medicine he needed. After that, he went to pick up other herbs. The medicine priest did not pester him and once again nagged. It seemed that no one had heard him speak like this for a long time. After Yang Wu walked around and collected a lot of spirit herbs and medicine kings, he finally left reluctantly. In fact, it was not that the medicine priest did not really look at Yang Wu at all. Instead, he stole glances from time to time. He watched as Yang Wu collected all the herbs here without blushing or panting. His heart ached. However, compared to those people from the Medicine King Pavilion, Yang Wu was more tactful. For the same herbs, Yang Wu would at most pick 2 or 3 stalks. He would not take all of them and would leave some behind. This method was still very civic. This way, when he needed these herbs in the future, he would not be unable to find them in a short time. Yang Wu and the medicine priest walked out of the basement side by side. The medicine priest warned, "The Medicine King Pavilion should come looking for trouble with you first. Be careful. What kind of storm can a bunch of alchemists stir up?" Yang Wu said disapprovingly. Medicine masters were intoxicated in the path of medicine refinement. They had indeed neglected the path of battle skills. Yang Wu did not take them too seriously. "If you don't listen to the advice of your elders, you will suffer losses." The medicine priest sighed and shook his head. Yang Wu did not explain. He was not even afraid of the imperial family, so why would he be afraid of a mere Medicine King Pavilion? Yang Wu wrote down the face-preserving pill formula for the medicine priest. The medicine priest put it away like it was a treasure. Every rare pill formula was treated like a treasure. This face-preserving pill was not any less valuable than any top king pill formula. In some cases it was even more useful. Yang Wu left the medicine hall storehouse and prepared to go home. However, he did not expect that people from the Medicine King Pavilion would actually be waiting outside to take revenge on him. He instantly smiled. Chapter 332. After Wu Nan and his men were driven out of the medicine hall storehouse, they waited outside. They must teach Yang Wu a lesson. The people of the Medicine King's Pavilion had always been extremely arrogant. They were the ones who bullied others, not the ones who were bullied. They had been immersed in alchemy all year round and paid little attention to the outside world, so they were not very clear about Yang Wu's background. They did not know how Yang Wu had become an honorary medicine priest, but it was nothing in their eyes. They also had a very powerful force behind them, which was bought over with their elixirs. Yang Wu did not expect that Wu Nan and his men would dare to take revenge on him. He had already revealed his identity in the medicine hall storehouse. How could ordinary people dare to offend someone who dared to defy an imperial edict? When Wu Nan saw Yang Wu, he waved his hand. Behind him, 8 people rushed toward Yang Wu like wolves and tigers. 3 of these people were in the general realm, and the rest were in the warrior realm. With such strength, it was easy for them to deal with ordinary warriors. They could not make a move in the medicine hall storehouse just now, but now they had no such scruples. Beat him into a pig's head. I don't care if he is an honorary medicine priest or not. Liang Lang waved his fist and said excitedly. He Yunduo also said in a sweet voice, cripple him. How dare he look down on our Medicine King's Pavilion? We must teach him a lesson. Wu Nan crossed his arms in front of his chest and didn't say anything. The smile on his face, as if he was watching a play, was unmistakable. He had always been very proud of himself as an alchemist because he never needed to personally take action when it came to matters like beating someone up. Unfortunately, when they saw the next scene, they were shocked. Their 8 followers were all kicked away by Yang Wu. Yes, they were kicked away. Like sandbags, they were kicked away by Yang Wu. They were directly sent flying more than 10 feet away. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. Let's go, Wu Nan said straightforwardly. He turned around and left first. Wu Nan was an alchemist and a general realm warrior, but his combat strength was not necessarily stronger than the general realm warrior who had just been kicked away by Yang Wu. He was no match for Yang Wu, so he did not want to stay and suffer. How could Yang Wu let them go like this? Yang Wu's figure flashed and appeared in front of the 3 of them. He smiled faintly and said, It doesn't seem very good for you to leave like this. What do you want? Wu Nan said with a frown. Nothing. I want to do what they want to do to me. I want to do what they want to do to me. Yang pointed to the people who had been kicked away. Don't mess around. Liang Lang trembled as he spoke, but before he could finish his words, Yang Wu had already lifted his leg slightly, and a kick swept out, sending Liang Lang flying on the spot. Hyunduo screamed, and in the next moment, she was also kicked away. Yang Wu had controlled his strength very well. He did not kick them to death on the spot. At most, he would make them lie in bed for 10 days to half a month to teach them how to behave. Wu Nan revealed a panicked expression. He had already realized how strong Yang Wu was and that it would be easy for him to deal with him. He quickly said, "Let's forget about today's matter. I won't trouble you again in the future." "Haha, you called people to deal with me and now you say let it go. Do you really think this lord is so easy to talk to?" Yang Wu sneered. After a pause, he looked Wu Nan up and down. Wu Nan instantly felt a little scared. Then Yang Wu loudly said, "Take it off." Wu Nan instantly retreated and said in a panic, "Don't mess around. There are so many people in this hall. I'd rather die than obey." Yang Wu's face darkened as he said, "Who would be interested in your little body? Take off your clothes and go back to your Medicine King's pavilion naked." "Don't even think about it," Wu Nan replied. He turned around and quickly ran away. But how could he be faster than Yang Wu? Yang Wu's fingertips released a blue flame, and he flicked it at Wu Nan. Hit! This blue flame touched Wu Nan's body, and in an instant, his clothes were set on fire. "Ah!" Wu Nan continuously screamed as he continuously put out the fire. But this fire could not be extinguished. Even so, it did not cause too much damage to him. It only burned his clothes to nothing. Wu Nan continuously jumped on the street. He thought that he had been burned, but in reality, that blue flame was quickly called back by Yang Wu. The passers-by on the street all stopped and stared at the scene. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. "Whose child is this? Does he have any morals? He's jumping around naked in front of everyone in the hall. I think I saw his clothes catch fire and then he became like this. It's really strange. It's not good to play this kind of game at such a young age. This person looks familiar. He seems to be from the Medicine King's pavilion. Did he play with fire too much and burn his clothes?" The people coming and going pointed at Wu Nan. Wu Nan came back to his senses and looked at his naked body. He almost fainted on the spot. He quickly covered his little penis and quickly found a corner to hide. He wanted to cry but had no tears. He shouted, "Yang Wu, I cannot live under the same sky as you." After so many years, this was the first time he had made a fool of himself. He hated Yang Wu to death. Yang Wu did not take Wu Nan's words to heart. He smiled faintly and walked away. Today, he had gained a lot and did not want to bicker with Wu Nan. However, just because he did not bicker, it did not mean that the people of the Medicine King's pavilion did not bicker. When Wu Nan and his group returned to the Medicine King's pavilion, Wu Nan found his master Yao Lingyu and complained about Yang Wu's evil deeds. Yao Lingyu was the current head of the Medicine King's pavilion. He was only in his early 40s and was already a Medicine King. He took over his father Yao Yanhai's position and took care of the Medicine King's pavilion. In the past few years, the Medicine King's pavilion had developed rapidly. Other than the solid foundation left by Yao Yanhai, it was also because of Yao Lingyu's bold and decisive actions. Yao Lingyu had 10 disciples and Wu Nan was one of them. It was because of this that Wu Nan was able to see him directly. "The one who dealt with you was called Yang Wu?" Yao Lingyu asked after hearing Wu Nan's words. Wu Nan nodded and said, "Yes, it was Yang Wu. He looked to be around 17 or 18 years old. He had the medicine priest's token. I suspect he is related to the medicine priest." "Idiot, he is a genuine glory medicine priest, and also the youngest medicine king." Yao Lingyu scolded Wu Nan in annoyance. "He is the Medicine King?" Wu Nan said with incomparable surprise. "That's right, he is the Medicine King," Yao Lingyu said with a light sigh. He paused and said to himself, "I was worried that I wouldn't be able to find a chance to deal with him. Now I have a reason." Today, after Yao Lingyu heard about Yang Wu's matters in the imperial court, He knew that Yang Wu had the face-preserving pill. He wanted the face-preserving pill's recipe. Now that Wu Nan had made a fool of himself, he had a legitimate reason to find trouble with Yang Wu. Wu Nan was scared out of his wits. If Yang Wu was the medicine king, then wouldn't he be able to stand on the same level as his master? Moreover, he was still so young. One could imagine how bright his future would be. He even wanted to use the name of the Medicine King's Hall to scare others. No wonder they were so confident. Master, what do you think we should do? Wu Nan asked in a small voice. Didn't he not let us Medicine King's pavilion not go to the Medicine Hall storehouse? We will go anyway. Let's see what he can do. Yao Lingyu sneered. Yang Wu didn't know that he was being targeted by the Medicine King's pavilion. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care. When he returned home, it was already dark. His mother was anxiously waiting for him to come back for dinner. Wu-er, you're finally back, Su Rome said with teary eyes. She paused for a moment and then said, quickly go in and eat. Yang Wu's whole body instantly warmed up. It had been a year since his mother cared about him like this. Thinking back to the past, he felt that it was a matter of course for his mother to wait for him to come home for dinner. But now, he no longer thought so. Parents' care for their children was a matter of course, but children couldn't take this care for granted. Don't let them worry about you. That would be unfilial. Yang Wu quickly stepped forward, held his mother's hand and said, Mother, you don't have to wait for me in the future. I've grown up and know how to go home and eat by myself. Wait until you marry a wife and have someone to take care of you. Mother won't care about you. Su Rome felt that her son was sensible and her heart was comforted. This morning, she had been worried about whether Yang Wu would be in trouble. It wasn't until the afternoon that she received the news that Yang Wu not only didn't suffer, but was also conferred a title. Her heart was completely at ease. Yang Jinan looked very calm, but in fact, he was also worried. However, he was a man, and he really couldn't just stand at the entrance of the courtyard and wait for Yang Wu to return. Instead, he got Yang Karen to prepare the food and wine, and sat in front of the food that had already turned cold, waiting for Yang Wu to return. Master, the young master is back. Yang Kurin whispered to Yang Jinan. And it's good that he's back. Take these dishes and heat them up so we can eat. Yang Jinan's face that had been gloomy for the whole day finally showed a trace of a smile as he lightly said. Yang Kurin did as he was told and took the dishes back to heat them up. The family once again sat in the hall. Yang Wu also called Meng Bingxue over to eat together. Shouho, Lu Ji, and the others didn't come back. After they were sent away by Yang Wu in front of the palace, they casually strolled around the city and enjoyed the atmosphere of the city. After the dishes and wine were all gathered, Yang Wu poured wine for his parents and also for himself. He then raised his cup and said, Father, Mother, I've made you worry. It's all my fault. After he finished speaking, he drank the wine first. It's good that you're fine. Yang Jinan lightly smiled in response and also drank the wine. Su Rome said, Wu-er, you've really grown up. Father, Mother, don't worry. In the future, our Yang family will only get better and better. No one will be able to do anything to hurt us, Yang Wu said with a trace of extreme confidence. And, if your little brother comes back, our family can really be reunited. I'll leave tomorrow to bring my little brother home. Chapter 333. Spring and summer alternated, and all living things began to grow. The spring rain that had quietly left had already nourished the vast earth, and the gentle and charming sunlight quietly appeared, sprinkling down a myriad of radiances. In front of a mansion, there were many people who had already arrived. There were nobles in official robes, rich merchants in bright clothes, and even manservants holding the reins of their horses. Many carriages were filled with all sorts of items, causing the mansion to be extremely crowded. These people had been waiting for almost an hour, but there was no trace of anxiousness on their faces. On the contrary, they were chatting with the people around them. Lord Lu, I didn't expect you to come in person. Haha, coming in person shows more sincerity. Lord He, aren't you the same? Boss Fan, you're just a grain seller. What are you doing here? Which family doesn't lack grain? In the past, the Yang family didn't lack rice from our Fan family. This time, we have to quickly make up for what we didn't send in the past. The place where these officials and wealthy merchants were gathered was the Yang family's mansion. They were planning to send gifts to the Yang family. Now, the Yang family was incredible. A year ago, Yang Wen had become the top scholar in the liberal arts. After a year of decline, Yang Wu had made a strong comeback. Not only was he not punished for disobeying the imperial edict, he was even rewarded. He was definitely the first person in history to do so. These officials and wealthy merchants naturally hurried over to curry favor. Who knew when they would be of use in the future? Not long after, another carriage rushed over. A middle-aged couple walked down from the carriage. They were dressed gorgeously and exuded an oppressive aura. It seemed that their status was not inferior to the officials and wealthy merchants in front of them. It's the Su family. Someone who knew them said softly. I heard that they have already drawn a clear line with the Yang family. Now that they've come, it seems that they want to repair this layer of relationship. It's fine if the Su family didn't help back then. They even drew a clear line to protect themselves. Their actions weren't wrong. However, with Yang Wu's unruly personality, I don't know if he will accept the Su family's good intentions. The middle-aged couple was none other than Yang Wu's uncle, Su Huren, and his aunt, Kong Qing. Su Huren was the eldest son of the Su family. He was in charge of the Su family's business income and was the chief steward of the Su family's finances. He was a typical businessman who was smooth and slick. He was slightly plump and always had a smile on his face. He had an amiable temperament and his eyes flashed from time to time. His shrewd expression meant that no one could easily take advantage of him. Kong Qing, on the other hand, was decked out in gold and silver. She was very extravagant, like a nouveau riche. She didn't know how to restrain herself at all. She raised her head high and looked at the sky as if no one was in her eyes. After they got off the carriage, they nodded to the surrounding officials and wealthy merchants before heading towards the entrance of the Yang family mansion. The attendants beside them were also carrying gifts. Someone knocked on the copper bell on the vermilion door and shouted, "Open the door!" The officials and wealthy merchants didn't take the initiative to knock on the door for fear of disturbing the people in the courtyard. However, the Su family did so. It seemed that they were relying on their relationship as relatives to be full of confidence. After a while, a soldier opened the door. 8 people came out from the left and right. They had a dense, bloody aura. The person who knocked on the door was frightened and almost fell to the ground. "What's the matter?" the soldier who came out asked faintly. They were the members of the Death Legion. They lived in the courtyard and opened the door when they heard the knock. They were all experts who had seen blood. How could ordinary people compare to them? The officials and wealthy merchants couldn't help but have a whole new level of respect for the Yang family. The rise of the Yang family was imperative. We are relatives of the Yang family. Yang Zhenan is my brother-in-law. I'm Su Huren. Quickly go and report this. Su Huren said with a smile. Kong Qing, who was behind him, said, "What report? It's natural for us to come and see our brother-in-law and sister. Quickly make way." The members of the Death Legion didn't make way. One of them said, "Wait a moment. I'll go and report this." As soldiers, how could they listen to other people's words so easily? Everything had to be done according to orders. Yang Wu had already given them an order. Without his order, no one was allowed to step into the courtyard. Kong Qing said with a face full of dissatisfaction, "You have big dog guts. Do you believe that I won't ask my brother-in-law to drive you out of the house?" Su Huren pulled Kong Qing and said, "Madam, there's no need to make things difficult for these servants. Let them go and report." The door was closed once again. Kong Qing was so angry that his fat body trembled. It seemed that he had suffered a great grievance. Yang Wu, who had just woken up from his meditation, received news that Su Huren and Kong Qing had come. Not only did he not have the slightest trace of joy on his face, he even revealed a bit of disgust. It seemed that he didn't welcome the arrival of these two relatives. Let them wait, Yang Wu ordered in a bad mood. Thus, Su Huren and Kong Qing joined the ranks of the people waiting outside. The officials and wealthy merchants all went over to greet the Su family. No matter what, these people were related to the Yang family. Kong Qing was surrounded by these people trying to curry favor with them. His arrogant expression rose again as he said, "My brother-in-law will come out soon to bring us in. At that time, everyone can go in together." "That's good, that's good," everyone present said in unison. After another quarter of an hour, there was no movement from the door. Kong Qing's expression was a bit awkward. She said with a dry smile, "Maybe he just got up and washed up. He needs some time." After another quarter of an hour, Kong Qing couldn't smile anymore. She pointed at Su Huren and said, "Quickly go and call Yang Zhenan and the others out. I was really blind to have married my sister to him. Don't be anxious. Wait a little longer. He'll definitely come out." Su Huren persuaded. After a while, Kong Qing urged Su Huren to knock on the door again. Su Huren was afraid of his wife, and could only bring the servants to knock on the door again. The person who opened the door was still the same soldier from before. He stared at Su Huren and asked, "What's the matter?" "I'm Su Huren. My brother-in-law," Su Huren said from the side. Before he could finish, the soldier replied, "No matter who you are, you have to wait. My master is still resting." After he finished speaking, he didn't give Su Huren a chance to speak and slammed the door shut. Su Huren instantly understood that the Yang family was angry. Back then, when the Yang family was in trouble, they didn't immediately go to the emperor to plead for leniency. Instead, they immediately distanced themselves from the Yang family and denounced Yang Wu's evil deeds. They felt that the heavens couldn't tolerate this and criticized Yang Wu for being useless. It was because of this that the Su family was able to maintain their status in the royal city. In addition to Old Master Su, who was once one of the 6 ministries, the Su family also had 3 sons who were officials in the imperial court. However, their positions weren't too prominent and were still in the process of being promoted. The Su family relied on their original connections to help their second son gain a foothold. However, after the favors were exhausted, it would be very difficult for their second son to be promoted to a third-rank official. Now that the Yang family had risen again, they naturally couldn't let go of this opportunity. They had to repair the relationship between the two families so that the Su family could regain its glory. Unfortunately, Yang Wu wasn't so magnanimous. What the Su family had done back then had not only disappointed him, but also his mother. Naturally, he wouldn't be nice to the Su family. Su Huren was humiliated, but he couldn't say anything. Kong Qing couldn't take it anymore. She shouted, "Yang Zhenan, Su Rome, come out now. You're ungrateful. Don't you remember your family?" It had to be said that Kong Qing's voice was very frightening. It was comparable to a lion's roar. Not only did it cause the surrounding people to distance themselves, but it also caused Yang Zhenan and Su Rome to hear it. Yang Zhenan and Su Rome hurriedly walked out of the house to welcome their brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Before they could take a few steps, Yang Wu appeared in front of them and stopped them. "Father, mother, leave this matter to me. Wu, they're your uncle and aunt. Let them in," Su Rome said with some anticipation. "Mother, don't worry. I know what to do." Yang Wu didn't want to make things difficult for his mother, so he simply replied and turned to walk towards the door. Su Rome was naturally worried, but Yang Zhenan stopped her and said, "Let him go. Some people should learn from their mistakes." Yang Wu didn't say anything else and waved his hand at the many members of the Death Legion in the courtyard. 100 of them gathered together and followed him to the door. The soldiers guarding the door bowed to Yang Wu and opened the door. When the door was opened, the soldiers behind Yang Wu rushed out like a tide. They released their general aura and condensed it into a terrifying battle aura. The killing power was incomparably shocking, and it wasn't something that ordinary people could withstand. Many of the officials and merchants waiting outside were frightened by this powerful battle array. The horses kept neighing. Kong Qing, who was cursing, had never seen such a battle array before. He was so scared that he immediately shut his mouth. When these soldiers stood still, Yang Wu slowly walked out. Yang Wu was handsome and extraordinary. He was young and promising. After being tempered by Blue Enchantress, he was like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. His entire body seemed to have a layer of light that dazzled people. They all softly exclaimed in their hearts, "What a good Earl Xiaowu!" No one dared to be negligent. They all bowed and greeted, "Greetings, Earl Xiaowu." Titles were the titles of nobles. In the King City, many officials and nobles liked to use titles. Yang Wu was no exception. Yang Wu nodded at these people and ordered, "Capture the people who were shouting just now." "Yes, Commander." The members of the Death Legion shouted in unison. Their voices were shocking and filled with killing intent. Kong Qing was so scared that her body trembled. She continuously retreated and tripped on something. Her fat body fell to the ground and she let out a miserable cry. "Aya! Nephew, you can't do this." Su Huron quickly came back to his senses and called out. Chapter 334. In the past, Yang Wu didn't hate the Su family. At most, they could be considered as displeasing to the eye. Take the son of the two in front of him as an example. He considered himself to be his cousin and treated him as a follower. He showed off everywhere, as if he was afraid that others didn't know that he had a cousin who was a viscount. Every time he appeared, he would use him as a shield. There was once when he was beaten up because of him. He didn't have a good impression of his cousin at all, and his aunt was even worse. In the past, he felt that his aunt was like a nouveau riche. Her words were also rather corny, praising him and his brother as if they belonged in the heavens and not in the mortal world. However, when something happened to his family, she was the one who spoke the worst behind his back. She couldn't wait to cut Yang Wu a few times to distance herself from him. Yang Wu clearly remembered that before he was taken to the mountain prison, his face was smashed with rotten eggs. A few of them were thrown by his aunt. At that time, he happened to see it clearly. How could he treat such a person as a relative? Yang Wu didn't have a good impression of his uncle, Su Huron. He treated his mother well, but it was more for the sake of benefits. Many times, he would ask his mother for help to rope in business for the Su family. His father was a noble count, so how could he easily rope in business for others, even if it was his own relatives? This made things difficult for his father many times. Yang Wu wasn't old, but he had seen everything clearly. He didn't need to think to know why the Su family had come this time. Yang Wu looked at Su Huron and asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" Su Huron said with some embarrassment, "We're here to see your parents and nephew." "No need. You can go back now," Yang Wu said coldly. Then, he smiled at the others and said, "What are you all doing here?" Although everyone was afraid of Yang Wu's soldiers, they couldn't wait in vain. They hurriedly stepped forward to speak. "Count Xiaowu, I'm Lu Wei. I've prepared a small gift for you to celebrate your great contribution at the border and your conferment of the title of Count. Count Xiaowu, I'm from the Fan family. This is a little gift from us to your Yang family. Please accept it." "Count Xiaowu, my family has long heard of your great name. This is a small gift from us." These people presented their gifts one after another, and the gifts they gave were all carefully selected. There were ancient relics, rare treasures, spirit treasures, and so on. None of them were ordinary goods. However, these things were nothing in Yang Wu's eyes. The value of any of his spirit medicines was comparable to these things, not to mention the king medicines he had. But that didn't mean that Yang Wu would refuse these things. He smiled faintly and said, "Thank you for your care. How could I accept it?" Although he said this, he waved his hand and had his subordinates collect the gifts one by one. These people didn't mind Yang Wu's actions. On the contrary, they felt more at ease. Hadn't they waited so long for Yang Wu to accept the gifts and remember them? Kong Qing had already climbed up and stood next to Su Huren. She didn't dare to show the slightest bit of arrogance and obediently hid behind Su Huren. She was afraid that the soldiers would catch her. She watched as the soldiers collected the gifts one by one and a greedy light appeared in her eyes. She muttered, "This nephew is incredible. I have to curry favor with him. In the future, my Su family will be able to obtain many good things." After a while, the soldiers finished collecting all the gifts. The people who had given the gifts didn't stay any longer and bid farewell to Yang Wu one by one. Yang Wu also smiled as he watched them leave. After everyone left, Yang Wu turned to look at Su Huren and Kong Qing. Finally, his gaze fell on Kong Qing. Kong Qing was frightened and quickly said, "Yang Wu, I'm your aunt." "Yes, I know you're my aunt. When I was sent out of the city a year ago, you threw a total of 4 eggs at my face, right?" Yang Wu asked Kong Qing. This time, Kong Qing was scared witless. She quickly waved her hand and said, I didn't do it on purpose." "You didn't do it on purpose? Then you threw it out of your hand?" Yang Wu asked again. Yes, I threw it out of my hand." "No, I didn't throw it out. It really wasn't me." Kong Qing's arrogance disappeared and was replaced with an expression that looked like she was about to cry. She could be arrogant in front of others, but when she saw the murderous soldiers behind Yang Wu, she didn't dare to show her shrewish and bitter temper. Yang Wu ignored Kong Qing and looked at Su Huren. "You heard it. This is your good wife and my good uncle. Hurry up and scram." Yang Wu didn't show any courtesy. He didn't care about these relatives at all. Su Huren and Kong Qing were so frightened by Yang Wu's shout that they fell to the ground on the spot, their faces pale. Who dared to go against the young king's anger? "Wu, don't be rude." Su Rome walked out and said, "Mother, didn't I tell you not to come out?" Yang Wu looked at Su Rome, who had walked out, and said with a face full of unwillingness, "I'm your mother," Su Rome said with a trace of dignity. When Yang Wu returned, he had no choice but to walk to the side with a drooping face. He wasn't afraid of anything, but he was most afraid of his mother getting angry. He remembered that when he was young, he didn't listen to his mother's advice and didn't go to the river to play. He insisted on doing the opposite and accidentally fell into the river. He almost drowned. After being rescued, his mother, who had always doted on him, spanked him. Yang Jinan walked out from the back with a bitter smile. He didn't know how to answer. "Elder brother, elder sister-in-law, please come in." Su Rome helped Su Huren and Kong Qing up. Younger sister, I thought you didn't remember me, your sister-in-law. Master often told us that you were the most sentimental. We had no choice but to break off our relationship with you. Aren't we here to beg for forgiveness?" Kong Qing said while crying. Not a single tear came out of her eyes. It seemed so fake. Su Huren walked over to Yang Jinan and said, "Brother-in-law, we've let you down. Father often blamed us. Even if we died, we should have spoken up for you. You were wronged. Don't mention the past." Yang Jinan said calmly. Su Huren and Kong Qing were welcomed into the residence. Yang Wu didn't want to see the faces of these relatives and hurriedly went back to his room to prepare. He would personally look for his younger brother. In his heart, his younger brother was as important as his parents. No one could replace their position. Ever since he was young, his younger brother had grown up with a halo and received countless praises. Countless officials and nobles wanted to arrange a marriage with his family. Even the current emperor had such thoughts. The emperor had once said that the day his younger brother became the top scholar would be the day he married the princess. Unfortunately, the day his younger brother became the top scholar was the day the Yang clan was raided. In order to save him and his parents, His younger brother gave up his position as the top scholar, allowing his family to survive. It could be said that the person Yang Wu felt the most guilty towards was his younger brother. Now that the matter of Imperial City had been settled, he wasn't in a hurry to refine the heaven reversal pill for the time being. It wasn't easy to refine that kind of heavenly medicine. It required a lot of strength to support it, and it also required a more stable state of mind. Right now, he was worried about his younger brother's safety and couldn't calm down. Before Yang Wu prepared to leave, he called Yang Karen over. Yang Karen had been staying in the Yang family all this time, and there was nothing strange about it. Every day, he would serve his parents and continue to be a good servant. Her beauty was even above Wan Lanxin's. Her beautiful eyes shone brightly, her body was graceful, and her ordinary clothes could not hide her beauty. "Eldest young master, is there something you need me for?" Yang Karen looked at Yang Wu and asked. "Sister Kurin, since we were young, why can't you call us family?" Yang Wu asked. "Eldest young master, I entered the Yang family when I was young and knew that I was a servant of the Yang family. Master and madam treated me very well, as did eldest young master and second young master, but I can't forget myself." Yang Karen replied seriously. Since she was young, she had been taken in by the Yang family and became a servant. Not only did she not suffer the slightest grievance, she was also taken care of everywhere. Her heart was 100% loyal to the Yang family. She, who matured early, recognized her position clearly and did not dare to cross half a step. Yang Wu could feel Yang Karen's stubbornness, so he did not pester her on this matter. He believed that Yang Karen would not do anything that was detrimental to the Yang family. He went straight to the point and said, "Sister Kurin, you are about to leave. Please hire some servants to serve my parents. In addition, buy some houses around here for me. In the future, my brothers will also have a place to stay." After he finished speaking, he took out a large amount of gold and silver and placed it in front of Yang Karen. This caused Yang Karen to be stunned. These gold and silver treasures were obtained by Yang Wu from the dead people and extorted from the barbarians. This was only a small part of it. "Eldest young master, you can rest assured that I will get things done quickly," Yang Karen replied after a brief moment of absent-mindedness. "And I also have something for you." Yang Wu responded and took out some pills and placed them in front of her. He had already felt that Yang Karen had reached the intermediate general realm. But a year ago she should have been just a warrior. In just a year, if not for the lack of opportunities, how could she have broken through so quickly? In front of her, he gave her acupoint breaking pills, healing pills, and a profound congealing pill, all of which were of extraordinary value. Yang Karen had already joined a mysterious force, so her knowledge and experience were already extraordinary. But when she saw the gifts Yang Wu gave her, she still felt a little incredulous. She asked, "Are these really for me?" The most precious thing was the profound congealing pill, which could help people break through to the King realm. If this news spread out, even a King realm expert would be tempted. "If not for you, then who would I give it to? No matter what you think in your heart, I will always treat you as my sister." Yang Wu spoke in a very serious tone. Then, he stuffed the pills into Yang Karen's hands, turned around and walked out, leading most of the Death Legion to the north. "Little brother, big brother is coming." Chapter 335. In the north, there was a small city called Long Camel City. This was a city close to the Northern Sands dynasty. It was the border between the two countries. The place was filled with all sorts of people, and it was the favorite place for the underworld between the two countries to stay. The county officials here were basically just decorations. It was difficult for them to manage everything here. As long as nothing too big happened and they could get through it safely, they would be thankful. The county magistrate here was controlled by the Murong family. The Murong family was a big family in Long Camel City, and there was a king in the family. The county magistrate was their family member. If there was no king, the county magistrate here would be even more sullen. This was an arrangement made by the imperial court after many considerations. Even so, when the Murong family obtained the position of county magistrate, they were unable to properly manage the city. Until a year ago, when a young man came here and became the county magistrate's advisor, everything changed. This young man was called Yangwen, and it was said that he was the imperial court's new top scholar. No one knew how he offended someone, so he was stripped of his title and sent here to be a homeless man. At first, Yangwen wasn't an advisor. He went to the county magistrate and used his eloquence to say that he could restore peace to Long Camel City in a year, and increase the city's income by 5 times. If he couldn't do it, he was willing to commit suicide in court. It was this kind of arrogant words that moved the county magistrate and made him stay as an advisor. That's right, this Yangwen was Yang Wu's brother. He was like a fish in water in Long Camel City, because he had already fulfilled his promise. In less than half a year, he had made Long Camel City peaceful, and the city's income had skyrocketed. The county magistrate was very happy with Yang Wu, and his daughter had even started to chase after Yangwen. He was ready to keep Yangwen as his son-in-law. How exactly did Yangwen manage to make this chaotic little city stable and increase the tax revenue? Actually, it wasn't difficult. He just made a few plans and let the county magistrate carry them out, and he fulfilled his promise. First, he opened up a free trading area and let the people of the 2 countries trade what they needed. He also sent people to protect them. Second, he recruited and comforted the various martial arts organizations and prevented them from doing anything extreme. He also gave them certain benefits and each took what they needed. Third, he reduced the exploitation of the people and gained their support. He picked out the elites from the people to strengthen the county magistrate's guards and strengthen the management of the city. As these regulations were carried out in an orderly manner, Long Camel City became peaceful. Yangwen's name resounded throughout the city. Both the black and white sides liked this scholar who loved to read. Yangwen loved reading, and he loved reading the books of the saints even more. When he was reading, he could make people feel peaceful. He could make people listen to him as if they were being cleansed. As a result, both the good and the bad handed over their children to Yang Wu to teach. Yangwen also became a teacher in the private school. Other than handling the affairs of the court, he also taught these children. These children all liked this teacher. After listening to his class, they all became smart and sensible. Just like that, both the righteous and evil sides expressed their respect towards Yangwen. A quasi-king even said that if anyone dared to touch Yangwen, he would kill their entire family. Other than that, Yangwen was very friendly. No matter where he went, people would greet him. He would also respond with a warm smile and get along well with everyone. One day, Yangwen was called to the Murong family. The Murong family wanted him to be their son-in-law and wanted him to be engaged to the number 1 beauty of Long Camel City, Murong Jin. Originally, Yangwen didn't have the heart for love, but he really couldn't stand Murong Jin's infatuation with him. He also had a good impression of her, so he agreed to the engagement first. It wouldn't be too late to get married after notifying his parents. Just imagine, a woman would bring him food every day, regardless of the wind and rain. She did not care about what others thought of her. She would accompany him to court every day. She would be satisfied with the short time they spent together. She would never ask for anything. She would only silently do what she should do. When he needed her, she would appear. When he did not need her, she would quietly leave. But no matter what, she would always appear at the coincidental time and bring the hottest food to him. Even if he was a block of wood, he would still be moved by her. He gradually got used to having her by his side. He also learned to let her grind ink for him, learned to let her help him wash his clothes and tidy up his clothes. Except for the last step, they seemed to have gotten used to this kind of life. He told her about his family matters, and she didn't leave him like a frightened tiger. She still accompanied him every day and encouraged him. It wouldn't be long before he could return to King City and welcome his parents. He was very moved, and this woman deserved his care. The engagement was a joyous event, and the Murong family was very lively. There were more than 100 people in the Murong family, and they all gathered in the courtyard to eat and drink. They also wanted to see the son-in-law who was about to come. But disaster suddenly fell from the sky. Several evil people suddenly killed their way into the Murong family. "Hey, it's really lively. I'm just hungry. Prepare a few seats for us brothers." The one-eyed man in the lead sneered. Apart from the one-eyed man, there were 3 other people behind him. All of them gave off an extremely dense aura of kings. The aura they released was so oppressive that it was difficult for everyone present to withstand it. They were definitely not here to eat but to kill. The Murong family was greatly shocked. They didn't even have the mood to eat or drink. The men all stood out and the old, weak, women, and children all retreated back home. As the head of the Murong family, Murong Yangkang stood out. He cupped his hands and said, "May I ask if you are the Black Handless One-Eyed Man?" "Hee, since you know it's this lord, then it's easy to talk. First, have someone bring out some good wine and good food." The one-eyed man laughed, then walked over and kicked over a table full of wine and food. He didn't look like someone who was looking for food at all. Murong Yangkang didn't dare to get angry. He said in a deep voice, "Sir, why have you come? If you want to drink wine, then you're welcome. If you're looking for trouble, then my Murong family is not to be trifled with." Murong Yangkang was the king of the Murong family. He was at the early stage of the Earthsea realm. In Long Camel City, he had a lot of prestige. He was a person who had seen a lot of the world. Facing someone in the top 20 of the Black Hand list, he wasn't afraid. "I told you to prepare some good wine and good food. Didn't you hear me?" The one-eyed man impatiently shouted. Someone behind him said, "Boss, why are you wasting time with them? Hurry up and wash the blood here. It won't be too late to eat and drink later." "That's right. The task given by the higher-ups is urgent. We have to immediately take action." Another person said, "What's the rush? I have the final say here." The one-eyed man unhappily shouted. He then swept his eyes over the people here and asked, "Who is Yang One? Stand out." The people of the Murong family instantly understood that this disaster was caused by the main character of today. Their gazes fell on the body of a delicate and pretty youth. There was no trace of panic on the young man's face. There was a scholarly aura exuding from his body, and there was no doubt that he was a scholar. Beside him was a young girl with bright eyes and white teeth. She was dressed very beautifully today, and when the two of them stood together, they looked like a golden boy and jade girl. The young girl was Murong Jean. She grabbed Yang Wen's hand and didn't let go. She didn't want Yang Wen to walk out. Her palms were sweating. She was extremely nervous. Murong Yangkang was very responsible. The aura on his body fluctuated. At the same time, a war spear appeared in his hand. He shouted, "Yang Wen is already the son-in-law of the Murong family. If you want to cause trouble for him, then you're causing trouble for the Murong family. Who do you think you are? Go to hell." Someone rushed out from behind the one-eyed man. He held a sickle in his hand and slashed towards Murong Yangkang. Murong Yangkang raised his spear and blocked. A powerful energy rippled out and overturned the attacker's power. He then said in a stern voice, "We are an aristocratic family recognized by the imperial court. You will be wanted by the imperial court for your actions. Please stop." Do you think the people on the Black Hand leaderboard are afraid of the imperial court? How naive. The king with the sickle said disdainfully. He then continued to attack with all his strength. The one-eyed man then waved his hand and had another person join the battle. Murong Yangkang was forced to retreat. The domineering energy swept through the courtyard, causing everyone to scream in fear. The Murong family's warriors protected most of the people as they retreated. Only Yang Wen stood out and shouted, Yang Wen is here. Please stop. Yang Wen's voice wasn't loud, but it was clear. It carried an inexplicable power that went straight into people's hearts. It instantly caused the people who were attacking to stop. The one-eyed man and the other kings on the Black Hand leaderboard all looked at Yang Wen. The one-eyed man waved at Yang Wen and said, "You're Yang Wen, right? Come over quickly. I have something to talk to you about." Murong Jin ran over and pulled Yang Wen. "One, don't go. I can't implicate your family. I'm fine. You can go back." Yang Wen smiled faintly. He broke free from Murong Jin's hand and walked towards the one-eyed man again. Murong Kong Yang blocked Yang Wen and said, "Yang Wen, have you thought it through?" Yang Wen bowed towards Murong Yang and said, "Many thanks for the family head's support. Yang Wen will remember this." Just as Yang Wen walked towards the one-eyed man, the latter waved his hand at the people beside him and said with a cold smile, "Kill them all." In an instant, the three kings behind him attacked the Murong family with all their strength. "Bastard!" Murong Yang roared. He used all his strength to block the attacks. Unfortunately, the one-eyed man also personally attacked this time. He had the strength of a middle-grade king. With a single attack, he knocked Murong Yang down. The distance between the two was not small at all. The Murong family's people kept screaming as they died one after another at the hands of the kings. Yang Wen was heartbroken when he saw this scene. He roared, "Stop it! Stop it!" Everyone in the Murong family had treated him well, but he could only watch as these people died because of him. His heart felt as if it was being cut by a knife, especially when the young girl who was running towards him without any regard for her life was struck by a merciless power. In an instant, the young girl was turned into a pile of blood, and a lot of blood splattered on his body. Jean. After being stained by the blood, Yang Wen's eyes turned scarlet. He roared, and the phantoms of sages quietly appeared behind him. On this day, Long Camel City was shocked to hear sages crying. Chapter 336. Rumble, rumble. Bursts of thunder and flashes of lightning resounded, and a torrential downpour came without warning. The people in Long Camel City all hid in their houses to avoid the rain. Suddenly, they noticed that this rain was completely different from the rain they had seen in the past. It was a red rain, and it was like the tears of a saint. The cries that bemoaned the state of the universe and pitted the fate of mankind caused everyone in the city to feel inexplicably sad. Tears flowed uncontrollably down their cheeks. What's going on? Why is it raining blood? Could this be the red sand rain that's rarely seen in 1,000 years? This isn't the crimson sand rain. If it was, it would definitely be accompanied by sand. But here, there's only blood rain. It's as if the sky is crying. Could it be that even the heavens have something to be sad about? I want to cry too. Perhaps there is injustice in this world, a great injustice, causing this genius to cry. The people in Long Camel City were confused, but they didn't know what was going on. Dozens of miles away from Long Camel City, there was a group of people galloping towards the city. This group of people was riding on tall and mighty demonic horses. These were the breeds of horses from the grassland of the barbarian tribe. Their horsepower was incomparably astonishing. It was not difficult for them to travel 1,000 miles in a day. There were more than 1,000 horses in this group. As they galloped, the sound of hooves could be heard. Much of the billowing dust was drowned out by the sudden rain of blood. At the same time, they were also hindered by this rain of blood. This was the Death Legion, led by Yang Wu, who was sitting on the silver-patterned tortoise. This time, he had brought Meng Bingxue, Shou Ho, and 1,000 members of the Death Legion. Wan Lanxin, Xueji, Du Guangfo, and the others were left in King City to protect his parents. Yang Wu's group stopped for a moment. His eyelids were twitching, and he felt a little uneasy. At the same time, he opened his hand and took the blood rain in his hand. He muttered, "Why is there a red rain for no reason? Big brother, this place is already close to the Northern Sands Kingdom's territory. I've long heard that there is a red sand rain here. It's caused by the red sand being blown into the air and falling back down, the skinny monkey-like man replied. But there's no sand here. Yang Wu sighed. The skinny monkey-like man stared blankly for a moment before smiling and saying, "Perhaps it's a little different from the legends." After a pause, he said, "Why don't we take a break first? It's not easy for them to travel on this rainy day. They'll be arriving soon anyway." Yang Wu pondered for a moment before saying, "Take them to shelter from the rain. I'll go ahead and meet you in the city." He had a nagging feeling that something was about to happen, and he was extremely unhappy. He had to find his brother as soon as possible. Before coming here, he had already figured out that his younger brother had been sent to Long Camel City, which was an extremely chaotic place. His younger brother was a book friend who didn't even have the strength to truss a chicken. How could he have any ability to protect himself? He was afraid that something would happen to his younger brother, so he had been rushing non-stop all the way here. It was not far now, and he couldn't wait to see his younger brother. "Big brother, I'll go with you," Skinny Monkey said. "No need, you can take them." Yang Wu waved his hand and said. He then urged the silver-patterned tortoise to rush towards Long Camel City at full speed. In the Murong clan, a young man was kneeling on the ground and crying. The sky was crying along with him. This was an extremely shocking scene. The young girl from before was worried about his safety and rushed over without a care for anything else. She was swept by the power of a king and exploded on the spot. The young man felt as if his heart had exploded as well. He almost suffocated and fainted. He did not faint, but his brain was greatly stimulated. There was a strange power growing in his mind. There was a red light flashing between his eyebrows. All the books that he had read in the past were condensing into ancient characters. They instantly enveloped him, and an otherworldly immortal chi drowned him. His scarlet eyes were filled with boundless sorrow. He looked up to the sky and roared, "Jean." This roar contained the love and care that the young girl had for him in the past year. It also contained his love for her. She was dead, and so was his heart. Who said that scholars couldn't kill people? He had read more than 10,000 books. There were tens of thousands of killing techniques in books. A frightening amount of blood was gathering. The one-eyed dragon and the other kings were all shocked. Murong Yongkong had already been killed by the one-eyed dragon. The other members of the Murong clan were all killed. These people were truly worthy of being on the Black Hand list. Each and every one of them was vicious and merciless. They didn't have the slightest bit of mercy. This rain really came at the right time. It washed away all the traces of our killing. One of the Black Hand list kings said, "This rain is red. It's really strange. Don't tell me that because we killed a few people, the heavens are bemoaning the state of the universe." Another Black Hand list king said while licking his lip, "That little brat is really strange. It seems like his body is releasing some kind of power." Another person pointed at Yang Wan and said. The one-eyed dragon raised his iron hook and said, "Don't just stand there. Go and capture him. Then this mission will be completed perfectly. He seems to be very sad." "That's right, I think I killed that beautiful girl. I've really sinned. The scythe-wielding king said hypocritically. Then, he rushed towards Yangwan, wanting to capture him. His profound chi condensed into a claw. It broke through the blood rain and grabbed at Yangwan. Yangwan was in a state of incomparable grief and indignation. He didn't react to this claw at all. Moreover, he wasn't even a martial artist. How could he react? The power contained in this claw was extraordinary. Yangwan was like a little chick being picked up. He was grabbed and sent flying. It's just like what the higher-ups said. This is a piece of trash who doesn't even have the strength to truss a chicken. The scythe-wielding king said disdainfully. Just as Yang Wen approached the king, Yang Wen's scarlet eyes glared at the other party. He shouted, "Give me back my wife's life." His voice was like a sudden clap of thunder. It was as if the sage was furious. Countless emperors and officials were terrified. The king's aura on the scythe-wielding king's body instantly shrank in fear. His back legs trembled as he felt an inexplicable sense of fear. His soul was greatly suppressed. This was a situation that had never happened before. He didn't look at Yang Wen like an ordinary scholar. Instead, he looked like a sage who was shouting at him. "Give me back my wife's life!" Yang Wen shouted again. The surging murderous scholarly aura rushed into the king's soul. The king's brain seemed to have been pierced. He screamed and fell into the rain while clutching his head. "What's going on?" The other kings all looked surprised. Yang Wen had already pounced over and pinched the king who was clutching his head. He had killing intent in his heart and wanted to strangle this king to death. Unfortunately, even if he had killing intent, what could he do? Even if he had thousands of scholarly aura in his mind, he still didn't know how to use it. His little bit of strength couldn't do anything to this king. While the king was screaming, Yang Wen was forced to retreat to the side. Fortunately, Yang Wen had an inexplicable power supporting him. He didn't fall too badly. He climbed up from the muddy ground and shouted, "Give me back my wife's life!" His voice was like a saint's killing intent. It shook the king's mind until he was exhausted. He bled from his 7 orifices and almost died. Only then did the other kings react. One of them made a move and slapped a hand seal towards Yang Wen. The one-eyed dragon stepped in front of him and said, "Don't kill him. Otherwise, we won't get anything and will be punished by the master." After saying that, he had already rushed in front of Yang Wen. He swung his hand blade and chopped towards Yang Wen's neck, wanting to knock him out. The one-eyed dragon controlled his power, afraid that he would kill Yang Wen. However, Yang Wen suddenly turned his head and shouted, "Give me back my wife's life." He spat out thousands of murderous intents, and it was as if ancient characters were rushing out. They instantly struck the one-eyed man's divine courtyard. The one-eyed man immediately followed the fate of his companion. His spiritual power was greatly impacted, and he fell to the ground. This was a mid-level king. He couldn't even withstand a shout from Yang Wen. One could imagine how terrifying Yang Wen's scholarly killing intent was. The ancients said that the saints could save the people and also punish the evildoers. It wasn't without reason. "What's going on?" The other 2 kings were instantly stunned. They didn't even think and attacked Yang Wen at the same time. 2 different and terrifying kings' powers blasted towards Yang Wen. At this moment, they didn't care about Yang Wen's life. They only knew that Yang Wen was sly and wanted to kill him first. Bang! Yang Wen was hit by the 2 powers and was sent flying. Even a mortal general would not be able to withstand the power of a king tier. However, after Yang Wu was sent flying, it was as if he was not injured at all. He crawled up once again and glared back at the 2 men as he shouted, "Give me back my wife's life." There was a scholarly aura in his chest and a murderous sword in his heart. He spat out scholarly killing intent. It was as if a murderous sword flew out of his temple and blasted towards the 2 kings. The 2 kings' temples were greatly impacted. They felt as if their temples were pierced by a sword and were about to faint. Yang Wen had always been a powerless man. Even though he had awakened his unique power of calligraphy, he was still unable to kill these kings. He had exhausted his mental power and fell to the ground. He allowed the blood rain to hit his face. Tears welled up in his eyes as he cried out, "Give me back my wife's life." At this moment, he really tasted the pain of losing a loved one. It went straight to his bones and made it difficult for him to breathe. The one-eyed dragon was the first to recover. He roared with a face full of anger, "I'll send you to hell to find your woman." The iron hook flickered with silver light and rushed towards Yang Wen's head. Yang Wen's power had already disappeared and he couldn't resist anymore. At the critical moment, a voice that was even more terrifying than thunder sounded, "How dare you touch my brother? I'll destroy your entire family." Chapter 337. Yang Wu rushed to Long Camel City. Fortunately, the city was not very big. Even with the majestic blood rain, there was no way to prevent him from sensing his brother's location. The two brothers were connected by blood. When his brother was in trouble, his heart was uneasy. He immediately sensed Yang Wen's location and promptly appeared in the sky above the Murong residence. He just happened to see the one-eyed man trying to assassinate Yang Wen. His heart was filled with rage. He roared with the surging Xian Qi in his dantian, causing the one-eyed man's body to tremble. The one-eyed man raised his head and saw a young man who looked a little similar to Yang Wu. His heart trembled. He is Yang Wu? Yang Wu had killed the top 10 of the Black Hand list. His fame had already spread among the Black Hand list. Most people had seen Yang Wu's portrait to avoid encountering such a ruthless person in the future. The one-eyed man was only ranked in the top 10 of the Black Hand list. There was no way he could compare with the top 10. After seeing Yang Wu, how could he not be afraid? Die! Yang Wu did not wait for the one-eyed man to react. He stepped on the one-eyed man from the sky. Wind God's Kick. The power of this kick contained an innate attack. It gathered the surrounding blood and stepped on the one-eyed man's head. The one-eyed man was shocked. Without thinking, he waved his iron hook. A hook light soared into the sky, wanting to block the power of Yang Wu's kick. Bang bang! However, the one-eyed man's strength was not comparable to Yang Wu's. The hook light was broken inch by inch. The footprint still fiercely fell on the one-eyed man's face. He was trampled into a bloody mess, and his body fell down on the spot. When the three Black Hand list kings saw this scene, their eyes narrowed. There was a trace of panic in their eyes. The one-eyed man was their boss. He was at the intermediate Earth-Sea realm. He was stronger than them, but he could not withstand the power of the opponent's kick. This really made them fearful. Yang Wu did not have time to pay attention to them. In his eyes, these people were all dead. They could not escape. He was more concerned about his brother's situation. Yang Wenjing was in a state of extreme grief and indignation. He kept saying, "Give me back my wife's life! Give me back my wife's life!" Yang Wu's ears were extremely sensitive. When he heard this, he instantly felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He muttered, My sister-in-law is dead?" Yang Wen's wife was his sister-in-law. As her elder brother, he didn't even have the chance to meet her or give her a gift before she died. Yang Wu's heart was extremely uncomfortable, and a strong sense of guilt instantly surged up. If he had come a day earlier, all these tragedies would not have happened. "You all deserve to die." Yang Wu turned around and roared at the one-eyed man and the other three kings who were about to escape. "Run!" The four of them burst forth with full speed and flew high into the sky. They hated the fact that they were born without a pair of wings. They wanted to escape as fast as they could. Yang Wu was a killing machine. "If I let you escape, as her elder brother, how am I supposed to face my dead sister-in-law?" Yang Wu roared. He took out the fallen moon bow, knocked an arrow, and shot out an arrow in one swift motion. Whoosh! This arrow first shot towards the one-eyed man, who was the slowest. Yang Wu's kick just now had caused him a lot of damage. When he felt Yang Wu's arrow shooting towards him, he didn't have time to defend himself. The long arrow had already pierced through his eyebrows. The one-eyed man fell from the sky and died on the spot. On the other hand, the three of them had already flown 300 meters away. They were flapping their profound wings with all their might like panicked birds trying to escape from their fatal pursuit. Yang Wu was about to start a massacre. How could he let them escape? Suddenly, the energy of the Tao of Death surged in his divine court. The energy of the Tao of Death condensed on 3 arrows and shot them out at the same time. 1 bow, 3 arrows. Yang Wu's archery skills had improved greatly after his trip to the grassland. It wasn't difficult for him to shoot 3 arrows with 1 bow. Wherever the 3 arrows went, there seemed to be a black light that contained the chi of death permeating the arrows. Before the arrows hit the three people, the energy of the Tao of Death enveloped them, causing their movements to freeze. Panic appeared on their faces. The Qi of Death instantly engulfed their bodies. The moment they stopped moving, the three arrows ruthlessly pierced through their bodies. 3 miserable screams rang out as 3 figures fell from the sky. 4 kings on the Black Hand ranking were dead. After their deaths, most of the kings on the Black Hand ranking were dead. The ranking could only exist if a new person was established. Yang Wu didn't pay attention to these dead people. He landed in front of Yangwen and found that there were many ancient runes surrounding Yangwen. They were constantly flashing, exuding an extremely sacred aura. Little He, who was on Yang Wu's shoulder, widened her eyes and exclaimed, "Literary immortal." Yang Wu didn't care about Little He's words at all. He squatted down and said guiltily to Yangwen, "I'm late. Brother, how are you?" Yangwen raised his head. There seemed to be words flowing in his eyes. There was a ball of light flickering between his eyebrows. He cried out in grief, "Give me back my wife's life." A spiritual power attack rushed toward Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't defend at all. He was immediately attacked by the murderous Qi of books. The Divine Court Tao flower in the Divine Court was attacked and immediately defended itself. Only then did it block the murderous Qi of books. Even so, Yang Wu still felt dizzy. Yang Wen's spiritual power attack was very powerful. After this wave of attack, Yang Wen fainted weakly. Many ancient runes disappeared into his body, and the blood quietly disappeared. Everything returned to normal once again. Yang Wu came back to his senses and hugged Yang Wen. He checked Yang Wen's injuries and found that there was not much damage. The only thing that worried him was that the aura in his meridians was very chaotic. There seemed to be a majestic power constantly running around. Chaotic Qi attacking the heart. Yang Wu immediately made a judgment. He took out a pill to calm the heart and fed it to Yang Wen. At the same time, he also used his power to suppress Yang Wen. He was afraid that this chaotic Qi would destroy Yang Wen's meridians and hurt his body. This situation was a state of Qi deviation. If he was careless, he might be crippled. Just as Yang Wu's power penetrated Yang Wen's body, the power in Yang Wen's body repelled his power and worsened Yang Wen's situation. Yang Wen's 7 orifices were bleeding. It was a shocking sight. Little He said again, "Little Wu, don't act recklessly. He's angry. If you add more power to him, he'll die." "Then what should we do?" Yang Wu asked anxiously. "What can we do? This will depend on his own luck." Little He was also helpless. After pausing for a moment, it said, "Perhaps we can read him some articles." "Read him articles?" Yang Wu was stunned. Yes. Your brother is a scholar. He likes reading the most, doesn't he?" Little He replied. "Oh, okay. I'll try." Yang Wu did not doubt Little He's words. After responding, he thought about what article he should read. After a while, he finally remembered. He opened his mouth and said, "Tao can be said, but it is not an ordinary Tao. Name can be named, but it is not an ordinary name. Without is the beginning of heaven and earth. With is the mother of all things." This was a famous book of sages that his younger brother especially liked to read aloud when he was young. At that time, when he saw his younger brother's meticulous way of shaking his head, he wanted to laugh. Now, he was reading this book to his younger brother in a serious manner. As he read aloud, Yang Wen's body actually responded. Ancient characters floated, and the same voice seemed to resound in the Divine Court. As these voices sounded, Yang Wen's situation gradually calmed down. The chaotic power returned to his dantian, and more power grew in the Divine Court. A strange Tao flower slowly bloomed. This was the Divine Court Tao flower. No matter where it was, those who could bloom the Divine Court Tao flower were the favorites of the heavens. They would be blessed by the heavens and would receive great help in their cultivation. This Tao flower of the Divine Court was different from the 7-petal Divine Lotus that Yang Wu had. This was a Tao flower with 36 petals. Ancient characters flowed on each petal as if they were condensing into heavenly scriptures. The fragrance of books filled the air. There were books of the Confucian path, books of the Dharma path, books of the Buddhist path. Thousands of books were condensed. They were all books that Yang Wen had read since he was a child. There were also some that he was born with. It was not without reason that people called him the literary star. Yang Wu read it over and over again. Soon, he did not need to read it anymore because Yang Wen had already sat cross-legged. He did not speak, but the characters of the sages condensed into a formless sound. He had entered the state of Tao. Yang Wu saw characters constantly appearing on Yang Wen's skin. He was so shocked that his mouth was wide open. He did not know what to say. Father and mother said that little brother was born extraordinary. It is indeed so. Yang Wu was astonished. Little Hei's canine eyes flashed. This was a rare sight. After an unknown period of time, the sound of Tao reverberated throughout the courtyard. Very soon, strands of light permeated the entire Long Tuo city. The books in the Wan clan flipped by themselves even though there was no wind. The fragrance of books continued to gather towards Yang Wen. In the sky, there seemed to be the image of a sage appearing. The entire city was filled with the fragrance of books. The murderous people's murderous aura decreased sharply. The cunning people retracted their schemes and the studious people became more reasonable. This was a type of reflection and a boundless merit for Long Camel City. First came the rain of blood, then came the fragrance of books. This is the appearance of a sage. Please protect our family and keep them safe. The sage's wisdom protects the people. The heavens have opened their eyes. Is this the appearance of the literary star? I am willing to be loyal and yearn to study, to become a reasonable and discerning scholar. God, please accept my prayers. I want to cultivate an unparalleled martial art and become a hero of this generation. Chapter 338. This day was called the Day of Divinity in Long Tuo City. In many places in the city, Wen Xiu Star's position was set up to worship and pray for blessings. Of course, they didn't know that all of this was caused by Yang Wen, and the power they provided in the future had become a kind of invisible power of will that supported Yang Wen, helping him step on the path of becoming a saint as a scholar. In Murong family's courtyard, Yang Wu asked little Hei to set up a formation to seal the place. For the time being, no one was allowed to know what happened here. He wanted to wait for Yang Wen to wake up and figure out what was going on. According to his initial judgment, Yang Wen had a very deep relationship with this family. Unfortunately, this family had been massacred by the four kings earlier. The reason why they didn't kill Yang Wen was definitely related to him. When he was at the border, he was attacked by the Black Hand list. When he returned to Royal City, he was attacked again. And now, someone was targeting Yang Wen. He knew who these people were. After he walked around Murong family's courtyard, he found out that there should be a celebration. There were a lot of people gathered here. But now, all of them were dead. He could feel why Yang Wen was so sad before. All of this was caused by him, which made him feel guilty and sad. Crazy guy, I don't care if you are Prince Fuwen or Prime Minister Song, I will make you die a horrible death, Yang Wu said in his heart. After an unknown period of time, Yang Wen finally woke up. Yang Wu, who was guarding beside him, immediately sensed it and called out softly, "Brother?" Yang Wen looked at Yang Wu with a wry smile on his face and said, "Brother. Brother, I'm sorry. Let's go home. No one will bully you in the future." Yang Wu put his arm around Yang Wen's shoulder and said solemnly. Yang Wen faintly said, "Brother, I want my wife to enter our family's genealogy. Sister-in-law, she." Yang Wu didn't know how to continue. She was the most gentle and lovely woman in the world. She was somewhat similar to our mother. It's a pity that she died, Yang Wen said in a low voice. "I'm sorry I'm late." Yang Wu patted his chest and said guiltily, "It's none of your business. I'm going to give her a proper burial," Yang Wen said. He then stood up and went to look for Murong Jin's body. Murong Jin had been struck by a wave of King's power and exploded on the spot, dying a pitiful death. With tears in his eyes, Yang Wen silently identified her corpse. Yang Wu felt extremely sad as he watched. He swore in his heart, "I will never allow such a tragedy to happen again." This was a woman recognized by his younger brother. She had requested to be listed in the genealogy, which proved that she was undoubtedly his sister-in-law. He hadn't even had the chance to meet her before she was killed. It was truly a heartbreaking thing. Yang Wu did not stay idle either. He helped to deal with the Murong family's corpses and gathered them together. Yang Wen knelt down in front of them and kowtowed continuously. Every time he kowtowed, there would be a dull thud on the ground and blood would spurt out from his forehead. Yang Wu had no choice but to kneel as well. This was his younger brother's family, so they were no different from his own family. Yang Wen found some digging tools and prepared to bury Murong Jin's body. Yang Wu naturally had to help with this kind of thing. After a busy day, the Murong family's bodies were all buried in their courtyard. Yang Wen wrote the inscriptions on each tombstone with his bloody finger. He didn't want Yang Wu to do it for him. Yang Wu looked at Yang Wen's despondent appearance and didn't want to disturb him. Instead, he went to the city and bought some offerings for Yang Wen. He stood guard outside and waited for Yang Wen's mood to improve before making a fuss. It was also at this moment that Yang Wu suddenly sensed a strong rotting smell. He activated his divine quartz senses to the maximum and quickly locked onto a direction. He raised his eyes and rushed in that direction without hesitation. "Kill Yang Wu! Kill Yang Wu!" Demonic cries that sounded like they came from hell rang out. A terrifying dark energy swept out in all directions. Many flowers and trees were affected, as if they had lost their vitality and were all dispirited. It was a sloppy and tall figure. His naked body was chained with 8 black iron chains. Every step he took, he crossed hundreds of feet. His speed was astonishing. Yang Wu appeared in front of this person and felt the terrifying power that was being released from his body. He cried out involuntarily, "Is this the way of death?" Yang Wu felt that this martial way aura was somewhat familiar, but also somewhat different. The expert who had appeared out of nowhere raised his head and stared at Yang Wu. His eyes shone with black light, and he instantly locked onto Yang Wu. He roared, "Kill Yang Wu!" In that moment, his martial way power enveloped Yang Wu. Apart from feeling a martial way power that was somewhat similar to the way of death, Yang Wu discovered that it was still different. It should belong to the way of despair. When faced with the most difficult times in life, when there was no turning back, one would feel despair. This feeling of despair came from the bottom of one's heart. It would make one lose all of their willpower and surrender. Yang Wu's heart was protected by Blue Enchantress. When the willpower of despair entered, it was immediately incinerated. A portion of it entered his divine court Dao flower, but it was blocked by the powerful mental power released by the divine court Dao flower. Even so, Yang Wu still felt a trace of despair. It was as if he had seen the scene of his Dantian being destroyed and being sent to the mountain prison. That feeling of despair was very unpleasant. "Kill Yang Wu!" The Qi deviation cultivator roared again, soared into the sky, and fiercely punched towards Yang Wu with a fist that contained an aura of despair. Unfortunately, Yang Wu was always protected by Meng Bingshu. An ice wall appeared in front of Yang Wu and blocked that overbearing power for him. Bang! That punch was so powerful that it even cracked Meng Bingshue's ice wall. Had the deranged man reached the level of celestial fish? In fact, he hadn't reached that level yet. He was infinitely close to the level of celestial fish. He was only one step away from the level of celestial fish. Unfortunately, he was deranged when he was comprehending the Tao of despair. His mind was greatly damaged, and he became a demonic man. He had been instilled with killing intent. He only had one goal in his mind, which was to kill Yang Wu. When Meng Bingxue was about to attack the demonic man, Yang Wu said, "Bingxue, back off. Let me fight him." Yang Wu felt very guilty because of what happened to his brother. Now that someone had come to help him vent his anger, he couldn't ask for more. Meng Bingxue listened to Yang Wu, so she backed off to help him. Yang Wu swung the Tao of Death and said faintly, one wave after another, "It seems like you really want to kill both of us brothers before you're satisfied. Then, let me show you what true despair is." Yang Wu hadn't fought for a long time since the war at the border. Today, he was going to vent his anger. Xian Qi was floating around his body, and the holes in his dantian were spewing out mist. The Xian Qi of Frost Spring was flowing around his body, and the Tao of Death was swaying in the Tao flower of the heavenly court. He stepped forward and punched the demonic man. Fist intent of the weapon fist. That punch contained hundreds of cauldrons of strength, and it was full of fist intent. It could compete with a top king-level warrior. The Tao of Death could make people enter the state of death and lose their fighting ability. However, this demon's mind was not clear to begin with. Moreover, he often ate human flesh and was tainted with the karma of the Tao of Death and the Tao of Despair. He could be said to be a ferocious person. He was not affected by Yang Wu's Tao of Death at all. He raised his hand and blasted out an extremely overbearing dark power that contained the will of despair. It was unbearable. Even a Heaven Realm warrior couldn't withstand the Tao of Despair of this demonic man. Only someone like Yang Wu, who had the Tao flower of the heavenly court, could withstand it. Bang! Bang! The two fist lights kept colliding, exploding with shocking power. The explosion made the air churn like a mushroom. The demonic man's strength was infinitely close to the heavenly fish realm. Yang Wu was a super young king who could fight above his level. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. This was a demonic man who could kill a Heaven Realm warrior. Yang Wu couldn't affect him even after activating the Tao of Death. He was at a disadvantage in terms of strength. His fist intent couldn't make up for the difference in strength. Yang Wu wasn't discouraged at all. Instead, he became braver and braver. Blue light floated all over his body, as if he was supported by a dragon turtle. He punched out with his fist and palm at the same time. The sea-turning technique, which had reached the proficient level, blasted out with astonishing power. These days, Yang Wu didn't seem to cultivate much, but the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula was condensing his strength all the time. He was stronger than before, and it was impossible for him to stay where he was. The demonic cultivator's will was unclear, but his battle awareness was not to be underestimated. His fist was filled with despair and demonic nature, and it was enough to destroy a mountain's corrosive fist force. Before the fist force even arrived, it already caused people to feel a chill in their hearts. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of fists were thrown at each other, and the shocking power shocked the people in the city. Fortunately, Yang Wu had rushed out of the city to fight the demon dwellers. If he had been in the city would have been in a mess. Who knew how many people would have been killed by the shockwaves? Shou Ho and the others who led the team from behind looked at Yang Wu in the battle from afar. They were all shocked. They all knew that Yang Wu's battle strength was abnormal. But seeing it again, they still felt very shocked and looked up to him. Yang Wu's opponent was also abnormally strong. They didn't have any possibility of helping. What kind of monster is this? It looks very strong, Shou Ho said with his fiery golden eyes. It was also at this moment that Yang Wu's lower abdomen was heavily punched by the demonic man. His body bounced back like a shrimp. "Boss, Captain." This scared everyone so much that they nervously cried out. Chapter 339. In the distance, two people also saw this scene and revealed looks of joy. One of them said, "Yang Wu is done for. Bringing Death Demon out is a huge risk. If we don't kill Yang Wu, it will be a huge loss." The other person said. These two people were wearing cloaks and were covered in black clothes. It was impossible to see their appearance, but from their tone, it was clear that they were the ones who brought out the demon. High up in the sky, Yang Wu was struck by Death Demon and was seriously injured. Death Demon's strength was enough to kill a normal Heaven Realm elite. Even if Yang Wu used all his strength to fight back, he was still inferior. Yang Wu was not someone who could be killed easily. He had the undying battle body, so his recovery speed was not something others could compare to. Moreover, his body had been refined many times and had reached a flawless crystalline physique. It was extremely tough and powerful. Taking this punch only made him spit out a mouthful of blood. When Death Demon chased after him, Yang Wu had an extra pair of wings on his body. They overlapped with the blue profound wings to form 4 wings. His speed instantly soared, and he pulled away from Death Demon. "I want to see how long you can last," Yang Wu said, and took out the double-edged triple dragon spear. He began a new round of attacks on Death Demon. 7-fold wild waves. Yang Wu waved his battle spear and waves of water condensed. Many energies that contained the Frost Spring mysterious essence crazily attacked Death Demon. Yang Wu's strength was very strong. The Frost Spring mysterious essence even contained an extremely cold chi. Even a Peak King would not be able to withstand it. Death Demon was not afraid of this at all. He threw out one punch after another. The dark energy contained the Tao of Despair, enough to shatter everything. Unfortunately, his speed could not compare to Yang Wu's. Yang Wu constantly changed his position, using Death Demon as a target. He attacked wave after wave from different directions, causing Death Demon to roar in fear. Yang Wu was tempering the 7-fold wild wave. He had already grasped all the moves to the great accomplishment stage. He was only one step away from reaching the perfect stage. When the 2 people in the distance saw that Death Fiend couldn't hit Yang Wu, their faces were filled with shock. They knew Death Fiend's combat strength very well. Even a Heavenly Fish Realm expert would be killed by Death Fiend if they weren't careful. After all, monarchs who could condense martial arts were rare existences. Even in the transcendent world, they were extraordinary. After Death Demon suffered round after round of attacks, his body was covered in blood. He looked more and more miserable, but it was as if he didn't know pain. He continued to attack Yang Wu without any regard for his life. When Yang Wu used the double-blade triple dragon spear to smash Death Demon's head, his body fell down and smashed into the ground, creating a deep crater. "It's time to die." Yang Wu stopped attacking and muttered. In the distance, the members of the Death Legion exclaimed, "Captain, well done." After they saw Yang Wu's shocking combat strength, their worship of him was even stronger than before. Even though they had reached the human general realm, there was still a huge gap between them and Yang Wu. Just as he finished shouting, Death Demon soared into the sky again, but he didn't attack Yang Wu again. Instead, he said with a blank expression, "Where is this? Who am I? What am I doing?" Yang Wu was about to attack again, but when he heard this, he was a little confused. He felt that he might have beaten the demon silly. The other party looked at Yang Wu and said faintly, "Young man, were you fighting me just now?" "That's right. You want to kill me, so I'm going to kill you. Don't pretend to be crazy." Yang Wu came back to his senses and shouted at Death Demon. "I see. Then let's not fight. My brain isn't working well. I might be controlled by someone." Death Demon pointed at his head and said, "Ding, ding, ding, ding." Suddenly, a bell rang from afar. Death Demon immediately held his head and shouted, "D***, they're controlling me again. Get out of my way." Death Demon let out a painful cry in midair. The path of despair was released again. When he looked at Yang Wu again, he was filled with killing intent. He swung his fist at Yang Wu again. Kill Yang Wu. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Yang Wu. However, when he came out of seclusion, he used his powerful willpower to control the power of his fist. He wanted to suppress the killing intent. He looked at the sky and shouted, "I don't want to be controlled again. Get out of my way." Death Demon was in great pain. He wanted to escape the current situation, but he couldn't. The bell was like a curse that controlled his soul. Yang Wu realized that things weren't that simple. He said to Meng Bingxue, "Bingxue, go and capture the bell ringer for me." The bell ringer might be able to help him figure out who wanted to kill him so badly. The two people were kings, and their reactions were good. However, Meng Bingxue was much stronger than them. When she appeared behind them like a ghost, they didn't even have time to react. She opened her hands, and two cold auras appeared, freezing them. Then, like chickens, she grabbed them and flew them to Yang Wu. Without the bell ringing, Death Demon calmed down a lot. However, the killing intent in his eyes didn't lessen. He ran like crazy, not willing to stay in that place. Yang Wu didn't plan on letting him go. His four wings flashed, and he quickly blocked Death Demon's path. He attacked like crazy again. He didn't kill Death Demon. He just beat him half to death so that he couldn't struggle anymore. Then, he took him down. Such a strong guy. If I can keep him by my side, he'll be a great help in the future. I can make him my little brother's bodyguard, Yang Wu thought to himself. After Death Demon was taken down, Yang Wu flew to Skinny Monkey and said, "You guys go to the city and find a place to rest. I don't need you guys here for now." "Yes, big brother." Skinny Monkey didn't ask much. He took 1,000 riders to find a place to rest. Yang Wu came to Meng Bingshue's side and threw Death Demon to her. He had her freeze him. At the same time, he had little Hay check on Death Demon's condition. She wanted to see if she could use him. At the same time, Yang Wu had Meng Bingxue give the other two people to him. He took off their hoods and found that they were people he didn't know. He said, "I'll cripple you. Then, I'll have a good chat with you." Peng peng. Yang Wu did not have the slightest bit of pity in his heart, and on the spot, he destroyed the dantian of these two people. Two pitiful screams resounded. The two kings woke up from the pain. They felt a terrible chill invade their bodies. They had lost their strength, so they couldn't resist it. They were so cold that they almost died. Yang Wu used his Supreme 9 mystery arts to absorb the cold energy. He had the Frost Spring Xian Qi, so Meng Bingshue's cold energy couldn't hurt him. "Speak, who sent you? Was it Prince Fu Un or Prime Minister Song?" Yang Wu looked at the two kings and asked. You're so cruel. You actually crippled us," one of the kings said with resentment after he realized his condition. Just as he finished speaking, Yang Wu stomped on his calf, and a kacha sound of bones breaking resounded, followed by a blood-curdling scream that pierced through the sky. "Who sent you?" Yang Wu asked again. "You. Don't even think about it." The man's bones were hard, so he stubbornly answered. "Very well, then let this son of a bitch clean you up. I don't want to dirty my hands." Yang Wu sneered, then called the silver-patterned turtle not far away and said, "Son of a bitch, take good care of him. Don't let him die too fast. Let him feel the pleasure before he dies." "Yes, young master," the silver-patterned turtle said with a trace of ferocious look. During this time, it didn't have a chance to show off its skills. This time, it had to perform well. The silver-patterned turtle bit the man away. Soon, there was a burst of screams. The man beside Yang Wu was so scared that he couldn't stop trembling. "Speak, or it will be your turn." Yang Wu looked at the man and said, Will you let me go if I speak?" The man asked. "You are not qualified to talk about conditions with me." Yang Wu replied, "Haha, it was Song Xiang who sent people to kill you. Soon, there will be more powerful people coming to kill you. Let's meet again in hell." The man laughed loudly and crushed a poison pill in his mouth. He committed suicide on the spot to avoid being killed. It had to be said that this man was ruthless to himself. Yang Wu frowned and muttered, "Song Xiang?" He didn't come to a conclusion. Whether it was Prince Fu Un or Song Xiang, they both had the possibility to kill him. However, he didn't believe the man in front of him. Yang Wu looked through the man's belongings, but he didn't find anything. Those yellow and white things were useless to him. The man didn't even have any mysterious spirit stones on him. It was difficult to make money from a dead man. On the other side, the silver-patterned turtle also killed the man. There was no suspense at all. Yang Wu let Meng Bingxue take the death demon and returned to Murong family's territory. He had to go back and keep an eye on his little brother. He didn't want anything to happen to him. Murong family's territory had become a cemetery. Yang Wen was still kneeling in front of a grave and whispering something. Yang Wu didn't know how to comfort him. He just sighed and talked to Little Hay about how to deal with the death demon. Little Hay, this guy seems to have gone mad. Can he be saved? Why do you want to save him? Do you want to fight with him? I want him to be my little brother's bodyguard. Good idea. He has gone mad. At the same time, he was cursed. It's not too difficult to save him, but can you guarantee that he will listen to you after he wakes up? You don't need to worry about this. We just need to give him something. I'm not afraid of him not listening. Besides, we are his saviors. Chapter 340. Yang Wu and Little Hay stayed in one of the rooms of the Murong family. According to Little Hay's investigation, CMO had not only suffered from qi deviation, but also because he had comprehended an impure path of despair. He had also been inflicted with a soul curse that controlled his soul. If he did not remove the soul curse, he would not be able to return to normal. The soul curse was an evil curse used to control people. It was a secret technique that was rarely seen by ordinary people. The caster of the soul curse also needed a powerful soul to control others. This soul curse was nothing in Little Hay's eyes. Unfortunately, there was no way to remove it. Yang Wu had to personally remove it. Yang Wu had the God's Court Dao flower. He could use his awakened talent to remove the soul curse. However, Yang Wu did not know how to use it. He asked Little Hay, "When the God's Court Dao flower bloomed, I also felt the existence of a soul-related talent. Unfortunately, I don't know how to use it at all." Little Wu, you've awakened the soul eye. Not only can you see through the void and see the source, but you can also destroy the God's court and destroy the soul. Similarly, you can also see the essence of the soul and remove the soul curse for them, Little Hay said with a hint of envy. Soul eye? Is that the third eye that I've awakened? Yang Wu asked. That's right. Those who can awaken the third eye in the human race are all gifted with the soul eye. This is an amazing ability. You're very lucky, Little Hay said. If it was any other time, Yang Wu would be overjoyed to hear Little Hay's praise. However, he could not smile now. He asked, "Then what should I do?" "The talent is yours. If you ask me, who should I ask?" Little Hay rolled her eyes. Helpless, Yang Wu could only rely on himself to figure it out. Before returning to the royal city, he was attacked by the deaf lute and the blind zither, which stimulated the awakening of his soul talent. He had never had the time to figure out what was going on. Now that he had the time, he could figure it out. He sat down cross-legged and adjusted his breath. After circulating his power for a few cycles, his meridians and acupoints flickered with extremely pure power. In the end, it all gathered toward the divine court Dao flower. The divine court was the root of the soul. After condensing into a flower, it gradually formed a soul body. Its spiritual power was extremely powerful, comparable to that of a heavenly fish realm expert. Yang Wu activated these powers and combined them with his soul body in an attempt to comprehend the soul eye talent. He could vaguely sense that the soul sitting on the flower had condensed into a ball of power. It was flickering like an eye. It was quite eerie. Open. Yang Wu activated this ball of power and tried to open his third eye like last time. All of a sudden, the space between his eyebrows split open as expected. A beam of soul light shot out from within and formed a third eye. Everything that this eye saw was astonishingly different from what it usually saw. It could see through the walls and see that Yang Wen was still kneeling outside the house. It could also see the corpses that were buried under the ground. It could even see the people who were coming and going in the city. This was simply a see-through eye. However, Yang Wu could not maintain it for long. He felt that the divine court was weak, so he quickly withdrew his soul eye. He was in a daze. He said in surprise, "This soul eye is too heaven-defying." Indeed, it could see through all the obstacles in the world. Wasn't it no different from Skinny Monkey's fiery golden eyes? If it were any other time, he would probably quickly find a few beauties to peek at and see if he could see through their bodies. However, he did not have the leisure to do that right now. He had to see how he could deal with the death demon first. He activated his power again. This time, he was very careful. He did not plan to see through too many things. He only focused on the death demon's head on the ground. Very soon, he saw through his head and saw everything in the divine court of death. There was no divine court flower in the divine court of death. There was only gray soul force and an irregular seed in it. It should be the impure martial path seed of despair. This was a rare martial path in the world. It was already quite impressive that the death demon could condense it. At the same time, he saw a black thing enveloping the death demon's soul force. It bound the soul force and controlled all of his nerve. That black thing must be the soul curse, Yang Wu muttered to himself. He thought about how he could help the death demon get rid of the soul curse. He did not have any soul control technique. He could only use the power of the soul eye to attack the soul curse. He roared, "Break for me!" The soul eye shot out a soul attack that struck the soul curse in the divine court of death. Yang Wu's soul eye was very powerful. It immediately shattered the soul curse in the death demon. Even the death demon's soul force was affected. Dead demon was already suffering from chi deviation and his mind was in a mess. Yang Wu's attack was like adding injuries to his injuries. His eyes rolled back as he foamed at the mouth. His body stiffened as if he was suffering from some sort of illness. He no longer had the demeanor of an expert. Yang Wu withdrew his soul eye and scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. "I'm sorry, big brother. I used too much power." Little Hay was speechless. This was too unreliable. Yang Wu did not know if the death demon's soul curse had been removed or not. He had Meng Bingshu remove the death demon's seal. When the death demon woke up, everything would be clear. "Little Hay, do you have any soul control technique or immortal art? Just teach me a thing or two. Otherwise, I won't be able to control the power of this soul eye." Yang Wu asked Little Hay. He already treated Little Hay as an omnipotent immortal hound. If he had any problems, he would go to Little Hay. "Let me hear you call me Lord Immortal Emperor." Little Black sat cross-legged like a human and said with an arrogant expression. Yang Wu rubbed his hands and said, "Little Hay, don't mess around. We're all on the same side. Hurry up and teach me a thing or two." "If you don't want to call me that, then I won't teach you." Little Hay spoke as if she had Yang Wu in the bag. Okay. Immortal Emperor, hurry up and teach me the soul control technique." Yang Wu said without any backbone. In order to become stronger, he was willing to go all out. "Call me that more sincerely. That's too perfunctory. Immortal Emperor, you are wise and mighty. Your divine arts are unparalleled. In the heavens and under the heavens, only you reign supreme." The Soul Control Sutra was an ancient soul art. Those who cultivated it to the great success stage would be able to condense a true soul body. Little Hay taught this sutra to Yang Wu and warned Yang Wu that this was a supreme sutra of the soul race. It could be used to cultivate to become an immortal, but the prerequisite was that one's soul force was strong enough. Yang Wu's divine court Dao flower had bloomed, so it wasn't difficult for him to cultivate it. Moreover, it could speed up the increase of his soul force. It could also help his soul eye activate its true offensive and defensive power. It would allow him to better control the strength of his soul force. It was also beneficial for his path of alchemy. After Yang Wu obtained the Soul Control Sutra, he was extremely excited. He wanted nothing more than to immediately enter a state of cultivation. But at this time, Death Demon woke up. Where am I? Who am I? What do I want? The Death Demon asked again, his voice filled with doubt. You are my most loyal servant. Yang Wu looked at Death Demon and said. Death Demon looked at Yang Wu with a strange expression and asked, You are my master? That's right. Yang Wu nodded. Then can you buy me candied fruit? I want to eat it. I want to eat it. Death Demon was like a child as he pulled on Yang Wu's clothes. Go away. Don't play dumb here. Tell me your name. Stay by my side and work for me. If you don't, you will end up in a horrible state, Yang Wu said sternly. Master, you are so fierce. I want to eat candied fruit. I want to eat it. If you don't buy it, I will cry. Death Demon was like a 3-year-old child. He didn't seem to be faking it at all. Yang Wu was stunned. He thought to himself, this guy isn't faking it. Did my power really make him stupid? Don't call me again. I will buy you candied fruit, Yang Wu said. Okay. Master is so nice. Death Demon jumped up and clapped happily. It was also at this moment that Yang Wu suddenly attacked Death Fiend. He struck the back of his neck with his blade, hoping to knock Death Fiend unconscious before healing him. He really didn't have the mood to take care of a fool. Pang! Yang Wu used a lot of strength, but the hand blade wasn't enough to knock Death Demon out. Death Demon cried out in pain. Master, how can you hit me? Sob. Death Demon sat on the ground and cried. He looked like a child. Yang Wu instantly felt a headache. He immediately covered his forehead and was speechless. Little Hay, how do we resolve this? Yang Wu asked Little Hay. Simple. Just heal his soul. Little Hay agreed. After pausing, he said, but don't be in a rush. It is best to instill another will in him so that he will be absolutely loyal in the future. How do we play with this? Yang Wu asked. It's simple. You just have to imagine an empty person and use your soul eye to forcefully replenish his soul power. It is equivalent to creating a new identity for him. That way, he will be absolutely loyal. Little Hay said. That works? Yang Wu said in shock. Why not? Any super strong soul power expert can erase a person's soul memories and can also instill soul memories. So, when you are more familiar with the Soul Control Heart Sutra, you can try it out. It is equivalent to controlling him for your own use. If that is the case, then wouldn't I be able to control many people to become my loyal servants? How could it be that simple? This is only for those with weak souls. If you encounter someone with a stronger soul power than you, you will easily be devoured. Moreover, this kind of thing goes against the heavens. Normal super strong people won't do it. So it's like that. Then I will cultivate the Soul Control Heart Sutra and see if I can reconstruct his personality.